Fats Radio, row 1C1.
I've been loving every second. I'm not rooting for injuries openly, but
I just pretended that was Brian Deegan.
I'm so fucking pumped. I'll be like, yeah, bitch, fuck
I will do that.
I'm gonna find him on LinkedIn and be like, "Did you punch a kid in the face? Tell me the truth."
All right, Sean brought his A game tonight. All right, okay, I like it. I like where this is going. And I don't want to put this as like a thing. Like, he wasn't a bad guy as far as we know.
Who said he was a bad guy?
I don't know, but I feel like we're painting him in this light that he was like this bad guy, and I don't want to do that. To this day, I hope you hear this. Fuck you. But rules are rules, okay? Stupid rule, but it was a rule. If you were a Crip and you were cooling in the cut, what do the Bloods do? Are they booling in the butt? Yep. Also, we are extremely juvenile, and yeah, whatever. Fuck you. All right.
That's where you cut that?
That's where we cut it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's where that ended. Yeah. It's not my final intro. I'm still working on a new one. Like, I have other ones. I was playing around with like some DMX stuff last night. That I thought was pretty fun. But
you should do like something when someone says what, something someone says what.
It was kind of along those lines.
There we go.
But it was just the intro to It's Dark and Hell is Hot. But everything was row 1, seat 1, Joey Fats. Row 1, seat 1, Joey Fats. It was pretty funny. I'm working on it. But anyway, thank you everybody for joining us. Another beautiful Tuesday evening live on the one, the only, the New Bedford Guide. I am your host, Joey Fats. Plizzy could not join us tonight because he
was on vacation, right?
As you may remember, is on vacation. That little
where'd he go?
He is in St. Lucia.
Oh, that's beautiful.
St. Lucius. Yeah, it's a really nice spot so far from his Snapchats that I've got. Looks pretty dope. Although he did do the most idiot thing I've ever seen anybody do.
Oh, helicopter?
And get in a helicopter.
In like a third world country?
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what? Like, no. Why would you do that? It's anytime you get into a machine that is trying to kill you from the moment you turned it on, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think I would trust a helicopter in the United States. I'd be like, all right. But in like another country, I'd be like, I don't.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Can't do it.
Like
Won't
my
do
wife,
it.
well, she wanted to do parasail in another country, and I was like, got like 6 or 7 drinks in me, and all right, I'll be like, let's do it, because I can't swim. So I'm like, dunk me in the water.
Yeah, but then they dunk you, and then like they don't hit the gas quick enough, or the boat stalls out.
I don't appreciate
and you
that
get
shit.
trapped underneath the parachute, and you're like, ah, crap. Like,
and I'm just drowning to death.
Yeah,
and they're like, bah!
They're like, dumbass. Like,
but even then, I'm like, how many videos do I see of like these dudes that just like hold on to the rope, like, and they're hanging in the middle of the ocean like this with you, and I'm like, this is looks so unsafe and like unkosher in every way.
Well, they don't have OSHA down there, so they get to kind of do whatever they want. But anyway, thank you all for joining us. Row 1, seat 1, Joey Fats Radio. 774-992-8702 is the phone number if you want to give us a call. We got a ton to get into tonight. We're going to get into a little bit of the Fairhaven Blue Devils. We're going to get into the New England Patriots. We're going to get into my Denver Broncos. We're going to get into the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Kansas City Chiefs, the AFC playoff picture, which is now just like it is thickening up quicker than Johnny's sins on set. It is getting to a point where we don't know who the hell is going to get in.
Somehow, some way, the Patriots now have a chance to make the playoffs
because mathematically they're not eliminated.
But it
12 games in.
It seems like they were until the Jaguars lost last night.
And somehow, some way, that just...
And now it was like if the Patriots go undefeated, never going to happen. And all these teams
never
lose.
Say never.
And all these teams lose, never going to happen. Patriots will make the playoffs. And I'm like, there's no way.
Probably not, but that's okay. You know, it's worth keeping a little glimmer of hope.
I don't know. I want it just to die. Just give me the second pick.
Yeah, I know. Patriots fans at this point are just like, God,
just give me the second pick.
Yeah.
I want the new Justin Herbert. That's my guy.
New Bo Nix?
No, fuck off, Bo Nix.
I gotta keep it alive for Paul.
He played against Washington. He did decent. The dude does not throw the long ball. He throws everything within 15 yards. I already have that dude. It's Mac Jones. I want like the fucking Drake May from Carolina. He throws it. He really is Justin Herbert minus 5 years. He's tall. He's 6'4", 6'5".
I mean,
can launch it.
You did just get a great up close and personal look at Justin Herbert, and correct me if I'm wrong, but 6 points, 2 field goals. Was that all the Chargers were able to muster?
We've allowed
46 points in your last 4 games.
No, 26.
46 in the last 4.
In the last 4?
In the last 4 games.
That's
league low.
6, 10, 10. It was 20 the other game? No, that seems like too much. The Patriots defense missing its best players, playing out of their mind. Offense can't do a single thing.
Let's see, 6, 10, yeah, and 20 against the Commanders.
Wow, the Commanders scored 20 against us. That's right. What a disaster.
I mean, before that, you'd given up a litany of a lot of high-scoring games. 31, 25, 21, 34, 38, 10, 24, 25. But
I don't get it. But Belichick has the defense playing great right now. It's too bad the offense can't do anything.
Yeah, if you had told me the Chargers were only going to score 6 points on Sunday in Gillette, I would have said, well, yeah, obviously the Patriots are going to win that game. Like, they're going to accidentally find a way to score a touchdown. But no, is that that's not the first shutout loss at home.
No.
But that's going to be the first one since 06 against the Jets?
No, I think it's the second one in like 3 years.
Since they were shut out, really?
Yeah. It's happened a couple times now.
I know it happened to Brady once.
That was it though. Never again.
At home.
Yeah, it was never again.
But yeah, it was and that was against the Jets. But yeah, it was an interesting game. Interesting week all around. A lot of drama, a lot of bullshit in the NFL, which was great. It was actually a good slate of games all day on Sunday. There was no real downtime.
No.
But we'll get into all those games. We'll get into a little bit of we got Peyton Manning. We've got Cam Newton continuing to make an ass out of himself. We've got the brawl in Philly with the Philly security guard and Dre Greenlaw, the Niners linebacker. We have the videos for that, so we'll get into all that. Plus, we'll take your calls, 774-992-8702. Be sure to give us a like and a share. I think we're being shadow banned on Facebook for whatever reason. So every little like and share helps at this point.
Yeah, we don't. There's no reason why there's nothing coming up for us.
It's weird. But the thing is last week we looked at the live numbers and we were like, oh, that's weird. By the time I woke up in the morning, they'd more than doubled.
Yeah. No, it tripled.
Yeah. So I was like, think Facebook is up to something a little bit fuckeried.
Well, if you're not paying their stuff and you're saying words that they don't want you to say, they just drop you.
Yes, God forbid you mention that Joe Biden is an oatmeal bag of nonsense.
You can say all those
kid
words.
Molesting.
All those maybe not that one. You can say all those words you said until kid molesting. That one, Facebook's like,
not say that about the president of the United States. Really? I can't. No. Okay, that's weird. But before we get into all that, Sean, I did want to touch on one. You always start the show off a little bit off topic, and this is something that was very near and dear to my heart. And obviously, I was super excited last week because I could not wait to go see Godzilla -1 in theaters this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I was so excited. I was so thrilled. I was like, all the reviews that were coming out.
100%.
I mean, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Everybody was raving about it. Not only is this the best Godzilla movie we've ever seen, but it's the best monster movie we've ever seen. You name it, the accolades were stacking up at a rate you could measure by the minute. It was insane how many people were just all in on this movie. And so I went to the theater. I didn't go to IMAX. I didn't go to Providence because going to Providence on a Saturday night is a little
hike, and it's a disaster with the parking.
Yeah, it's a little sus. And I'm just like, you know what? I was like, I could go to Randolph, but Randolph didn't have the showtime I wanted. So I was like, you know what? Never mind. We'll just go to Dartmouth. We'll go to the AMC theater. It's comfortable. It's close. Yeah. It's right there. It's easy. No big deal, right? So I get there, and I'm thinking I completely forgot that things are back to normal again.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't COVID where you could walk into the theater and everybody was like, I'm scared to go out.
It's full theaters again.
So I walked in and there was literally 4 seats left in the whole theater.
Yeah, god damn.
And I was like, oh shit. I was like, well, good fucking thing. I was like, good thing we got 2 because I was like, I would have been pissed if I had to wait until 9 o'clock.
All the receipts are reserved ahead of time, too.
Yeah, it's insane. So I forgot about that. So we got there. We got lucky. We got some seats. Not the best ones, not what I would have picked, but, not bad, right? So we get through the movie. We're going through the movie, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, and I don't want this to deter anybody who's like gonna go see it.
Okay.
Do go see it. If you were gonna go see it, go see it. Don't let my opinion ruin it. But I will say this as the consummate Godzilla expert. I have never been more disappointed in a film than I was with this. And I don't know if it's because the film was actually that disappointing or I allowed the hype of the film to get my expectations up so high.
Well, one, you're a fan. You're a specific fan of Godzilla, so your expectations are a little bit more than that of a regular fan. Like me, I like Godzilla, but I'm not like a mega fan of Godzilla. I obviously am the Batman guy, so I expect more out of Batman movies when I actually get to see them. So you, as the Godzilla person, you're expecting a certain type of Godzilla, a certain type of reaction, and we were talking off air, and you said there's a certain
blueprint
of how these movies roll out, and you're kind of robbed of that in this movie.
Yeah, they kind of like it'd be like how do I put it? It'd be like if you it'd be like going to KFC and getting a bucket of fried chicken and there was no skin on it.
Ooh. Meatless, skinless
like,
chicken.
Okay, like, yeah, the chicken's still there. It's still good. But this could have been so much better. Like, you left out an integral part.
Yeah, you want that crunch.
Yeah, you left out the most important part. And this was like there was like a good 45 minutes of this movie of listening to the main character and a bunch of Japanese basically cry because they lost World War II.
What?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. Like, the main character is a kamikaze pilot, and this doesn't spoil anything, but he's a kamikaze pilot, and he lives the entire movie. So, anybody who knows anything about World War II and Japanese, especially specifically the Japanese,
what
in the
year
history,
did this take place in?
It's, I believe Godzilla makes landfall in 47 or 48 in the movie.
What the fuck? Mm-hmm. So wait, this movie takes place in like right after World War II?
Yes, that's the whole. So the -1 in the title.
Wow, United States was one fucking around. They hit him with 2 nukes and they sent out Godzilla.
Right. -1 in the title is that Japan had been set back to 0 because of the war.
Yeah.
And then Godzilla shows up and brings them to -1.
It's just a guy on the board erases the 0, puts -1.
Right? I'm like, I don't know who'd make that decision. Like, it's like,
That's almost like the doomsday clock for the 80s for the United States and Russia.
Correct.
Like 1 minute to midnight. It's like, come on, dude, fucking
2
relax.
minutes to midnight.
They still have that clock, though. That's still a committee that still meets year to year.
Yeah. And it was along those lines, right? Like, that was like kind of the whole thing. I just felt I left there so disappointed and so wanting, and I know I could have done a better job if somebody had just consulted me. Like, I feel like, which is with most things, like if somebody just consults me, like, oh, you're gonna go for it on 4th down and 5, like, oh, do you want to consult me on the play call, because I'll probably stop you from outsmarting yourself. Like, I'm not gonna be able to dial up the perfect play call, but I can tell you, like, nope, good idea, or nope, bad idea. Like, good idea, bad idea. Like, I could do that. I could do that. Just, put a headset on me and stick me in the booth and just let me listen in. And whenever, I feel like you're doing something stupid, I can just buzz and be like, that's dumb. Don't do that. And I can probably save you from yourself. I guarantee, and this is my offer to any NFL franchise that wants to allow me to do that, or college, I will do that for a very nominal fee, and I will guarantee you at least 2 wins a year.
Have you ever wondered? I thought of this idea a long time ago, and I don't know if we ever brought it up on air, but like for a preseason game, an exhibition game, the Pro Bowl game, whatever, people are watching live. We have the capability to do this. What if you text from your phone or vote from your phone what you want the offense to do, what you want the defense to do, and then they're not going to show you on screen what happens, but then after the play, you can say the majority of the audience selected pass. And this is the option they pick, almost like Madden screens. Like, here's the 3 different plays.
But I would need to be more, like, I would want it to be more specific. So I like the idea, like, I don't like the idea of involving the entire audience because, again,
well, that's what makes it.
You and I, we're not average football fans, right?
No, I know.
We're not casuals.
But that would be cool because
I don't want
every 4th
down.
Go
throw
it.
a Hail Mary. You're like, no, it's 4th and 1. No.
To be fair, we would probably see a game 86-70, and then we'd be like, Yeah, we killed it. Like, we did great.
But perfect example. Opening day last year, Broncos at Seahawks. Mm-hmm. And Nathaniel Hackett decides, we're going to kick a 70-yard field goal instead of going for it on 4th and 5 with our $250 million quarterback that we just got. Who, by the way, in that game, if you remember, had been moving the ball up and down the field with ease. They just couldn't punch it in the end zone. Now, that being said, I would have gotten on the mic and be like, nope, bad idea. Put it in your quarterback's hands.
Didn't he nail the kick, though?
No, missed it.
Oh, I thought he nailed it.
No, he missed it. Remember, he missed it. That was the whole thing.
I remember going for a 70-yard field goal, but some way, I thought he made that field goal.
No, it wasn't even close. Missed it wide right.
No,
it wasn't even close. So that was the whole thing. So people could just consult me. It would probably make a lot, take a lot of the pain away. And they should have done that with Godzilla -1. I could have just been like, hey, listen, we probably don't need 45 to 50 minutes of crying from this failed kamikaze pilot.
Yeah.
We should probably sprinkle in a little more monster.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because not for nothing, but nobody came here to see people. I get it. Like, it's cool to have a good monster movie that has a great human story to it, too, which obviously all the legendary ones have lacked. Godzilla 2014 was okay, but it wasn't spectacular. It was, what's his name there? The actor was like, he was just like so dry.
What the fuck is his name from 2014?
The young kid there. The one that plays Bryan Cranston's son.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
And then they kill off Bryan Cranston in like the first 10 minutes of the movie, and you're like, oh, come on. Like,
yeah, I thought he was going to be great in that movie.
Me too. So
he watches his wife die, and then he gets old, and he's with his son. Oh, what's the son's name? The son plays Craven.
It's Brody.
Yeah, the son plays Craven in the new movie coming out. He's in the movie Bullet Train. He's like one of the gentleman spies.
Yep. And then what was it? The oldest Olsen sister was in it.
Elizabeth?
Yes, Elizabeth Olsen. She's smoking, so that was nice. That made it easy.
Aaron Taylor Johnson or something like that?
Yes.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
It's like three names.
It was like 3 names hyphenated.
Yes,
it wasn't
yes.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas, but it was close. Aaron Taylor something, right. But yeah, that was like...
I think that's it.
He was so dry in that movie. Like, his character was so dry, and it was just like, it didn't give you a lot, but you weren't there to see...
It is Aaron Taylor Johnson.
You weren't there to see the human aspect of it.
Yeah,
you were there to see Godzilla fuck shit up.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And... Anyway, this Godzilla -1, it left me disappointed and wanting more than I've ever been disappointed by a movie. And again, I don't know if that was because I allowed people to hype it up too much. Like, and I'm even on my way out of the theater, though, I'm listening to everybody around me talk, and they're like, greatest Godzilla movie ever.
Yeah, that was
so good. It was so great. Because it wasn't just on Facebook or social media where, bots and things like that can just post stuff to hype a movie up. But, who the hell's hyping up a Godzilla movie? Like, who's paying bots to hype a Godzilla movie? Like, nobody.
The Japanese.
The budget for this movie was like $15 million to start with. So it's like, they probably don't have a...
That's why they don't have a lot of Godzilla in it.
Yeah, probably they spent it all on internet hype instead. But, people were, actually in the lobby, saying, that was the greatest Godzilla movie I've ever seen. I'm like, really? Did you see 84? Did you see 54?
Well, that was a big complaint about the 2014 movie, too. It'd be like, here comes Godzilla! It cuts to a guy cutting a sandwich. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right. Exactly. And that was... And Godzilla 2014 has its own myriad of problems, but, nonetheless...
I thought he looked cool in 2014. I thought it looked badass.
The design was great. The design of -1 was great. It was spectacular. It was perfect. It was the perfect Godzilla.
I don't like that, purple-tailed, elongated one.
Oh, Shin? No,
Yeah.
Shin was cool. Shin was really cool.
I don't like the look of it, though.
I loved it.
It looks like he has, I'm going to get fucking canceled. Looks like he's, has, Down syndrome, or, mentally disabled.
The only thing I didn't love about Shin was the eyes were very derpy.
Yeah, the eyes in different direction. He's like...
Yeah.
It's all fucked up. I'm like, I don't know.
Which if you watch the movie and you know kind of what was going on, you understand the why of that. But unless you're a complete Godzilla nerd like me, you're probably not doing that. So
it's just when you think of Godzilla, you think of this big hulking creature that's powerful and dominant. Just like the tag team we're going to get in the new movie coming out in a few months.
I am not going to see that.
We should just play the trailer and be like, hey, we'll sponsor the movie just to see your reaction.
I'm not going to see it. And everybody's freaking out because Godzilla has pink spikes in it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really care about the pink spikes.
He had that in the Shin Godzilla movie too, though.
Shin and in Godzilla 2000 as well. But I don't care about the pink. It's the fact that they show Godzilla and Kong sprinting.
Oh, all right. The fucking baby arms kills me too. I can't stand the baby arms.
Oh, and Shin?
He's looking like Trump. He's like, the biggest arms of all time.
He's like, I have the tiniest arms.
Hate it. I just
China
hate the way
is
it looked.
next.
And then his tail always floated like back here, like it was some like magical anti-gravity tail. Hated it.
See, I love Shin. Shin was
I
Shin.
hate
I
it.
liked Shin more than -1. I thought the design. I liked the design better in -1, but Shin was like a purely evil Godzilla, and I love that. And that was actually a great film. Like if you're ever gonna you want to watch a really good Godzilla movie, Shin would be number 1.
You told me Shin was great.
1984 would be number 1, then Shin would be number 2, and then I'd probably put the original 54 at number 3. But see, I like Final Wars where it's like super cheesy and there's like aliens doing like kung fu fighting and shit. And
I remember you used to watch him with Godzuki.
all right, like those were a little silly.
Like, "Whee!"
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he flies on his tail across the screen.
Listen, man, I love the floating tail flip, whatever thing that was fucking awesome.
And then Godzilla put his hands on his face and be like, "Oh, you'd much dishonor."
Yeah. Or even Godzilla versus Gigan where they're like talking to each other and like there's like the little captions on the screen. Like,
Yeah.
and you're like, what the fuck? But no, I was supremely disappointed with -1. I wish
That
I could have liked it
sucks.
better. I wanted to like it. I
What
kept
studio
waiting
was
for it.
Who made it?
Toho.
Oh, it was them too?
That's
Oh.
that's why I was so utterly disappointed. Because I had way higher expectations for it initially, and then all the reviews came out and my expectations went even higher, and then I saw it and I was like, it was basically the Citizen Kane of Godzilla movies.
Yeah, they tried making it really like serious. And,
Yeah,
like, it's
and-
about the people.
And yeah, which I don't have a problem with a good human story,
The human story kind of fucked up.
but
Though, I'm not
you
gonna lie to you.
need it, like it needed to be.
Joe, you're telling me I'm more interested in the story now because it was current day Japan. We've just been nuked twice, and now Godzilla is coming. People are like, come on!
Yeah. Seriously, like the guy shows up to his house in Tokyo or whatever, and it's just like everything's just rubble. Because he's like, well, this is my house, I guess. And it's just like
He opens the door to nothing. It's
pretty
just
much. Yeah, it's just bricks everywhere. He's like, well, fuck. Like
Oh my
maybe
god!
I should have just drove my plane into that battleship and been done with it, but whatever. Anyway, that's enough about Godzilla and my ultimately disappointed ass. I'm gonna watch it again, not in the theaters. I'll watch it again. I'll stream it.
You think it's gonna go right to HBO or something like that? Like it always goes to one of the premiere networks.
I actually think it's supposed to be going to a streaming service like within the next week or two.
What? I hate that shit. Why
Me
do they
too.
do that?
I don't know.
That kills it. And people are like, "Oh, the movies aren't that popular anymore," because you put it out in the theaters.
Well, it did really well opening weekend money wise, and again, a lot of people loved it, and I don't understand it. I don't know what they saw in it.
I'll watch it. I'm very interested.
I'm not saying it's not worth a watch, but I would definitely say like, hey, maybe wait till this one comes out on streaming.
Well, I'm definitely waiting for streaming. I mean, it's December, so I got
Getting to a
Christmas
theater
and
at
shit.
this point is like, but
Yeah.
the thing is I only go to the theater for appointment viewing anyway.
Oh, I only go.
I haven't been to the last time I went to the theater was Top Gun 2.
Last time I went to the theater was The Batman, and yeah, that was whatever it was, like almost a year ago,
Yeah.
not longer.
So I'm all set.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
774-992-8700.
I did want to see Oppenheimer, and I fucking regret not seeing Oppenheimer.
I kind of do too, but like, dude, 3 hours is a lot. That's a big commitment for me.
3 hours and 22 minutes.
Okay, even worse.
And he cut out an hour of the movie. Imagine going. He's like, it's a great 4.5 hours cinema.
I'll watch it eventually,
Director's cut.
but it's gonna take a lot for me to watch it because I can't invest that much time in one sitting. Like for me to sit still for 3 hours, it's next to impossible. Like I'm just not built like that. I can't do it.
Nobody is. Not in today's day. You got too many things going on.
And and you know me, I'm always like railing on people for being like, they have no attention span, they have no ability to sit. But like just for me to find 3 hours of my week on my days off,
no.
like my time is spoken for, dude. Like I got shit going on, I got things to do.
I hate it.
I got a podcast to produce. I got things that I got I got to do stuff.
I'm gonna have kids
To find
with an S.
three, yeah, you got another one on the way. Like to
I'm
have,
gonna have
3 hours and 20 minutes of one day.
No.
Like
All right, I can't get
That's
my
tough.
wife to stay awake for an hour and 45-minute movie. She's like, we should have movie nights on Saturday. I'm like, that sounds great. It went great.
It started at 5:30 in the afternoon, if you're lucky.
And my son's like this. Hold on a second, motherfucker. And with double guns out. And he's like, I got 4 episodes of Blippi left that are 45 minutes each. It's like, by the time it gets to the movie, she's like, 45 minutes in, the movie could be so enthralling, and she's just like,
I can't get my wife to stay up for a 22-minute episode of Big Mouth. Like, we started watching the new season of Big Mouth, and I'm like, I started watching it because I love it, because it's hilarious.
Yeah, you told me about Big Mouth.
And 8-9 minutes in, she's passed out on the couch next to me. I'm like, hey, you gonna wake up and watch it? You know when they make when they don't want to be disturbed. Yeah, and they and you're like, all right, and you're like, well, I'm not stopping watching this, so you're on your own then.
I know.
And then they wake up the next day and you're 5 episodes in, and they're like, what the fuck? And you're like, I told you don't do that. Like,
you're reciting into the language.
If you weren't ready to watch 3 or 4 episodes in succession, then we shouldn't have watched any.
It's tough, man.
But once I start, it's like Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop. And maybe I'll have to do that with Oppenheimer. Maybe I'll just sit down at the bar one of these nights and just put it on and just see how it goes.
You have to mentally prep yourself and clear your schedule
for a 3.5-hour movie. Yeah,
and then you have to literally just shut your devices off and just be darken the whole room and be like, okay, I am now unbothered. And as soon as that happens, doorbell.
Right, or the dog's whining because she's you haven't played with her for 3 hours and she's like, I need to shit, or I don't know. There's a million things happen. And plus, it's when am I going to start that movie? Lauren goes to bed at 10:30, 11 o'clock. What am I going to do? Stay up until 2:30?
You get to start it at 5:30 exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to start it.
End by bedtime.
I'm going to start it so I can be in bed by 3 a.m. Really? That just no, because then I'm cutting into Call of Duty time. I'm cutting into iRacing time. Again, my time is fucking valuable and highly sought after.
Sure is.
I can't sit here and waste. And the fact that I went and wasted 3 hours of my night at
infuriating.
The movies was it pissed me off. I'm like, I could have sat at home and watched this, and at least I would have been disappointed at home where I have vodka.
Man, I mean,
I did bring a whole pint of Captain 100.
Wow, shocker!
And
they have a bar there, but I'm not paying the bar prices.
Dude, my wife got a drink. It was $19.
$19. The movie tickets are $20.
Yeah,
$40 for a drink and a ticket.
For my popcorn and 2 tickets was $70.
This is why things are fucking crazy.
That's nuts. A night of the movies. I bought the 2 tickets. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was $50. And then the pint of Captain 100 was $19.99.
Oh, my God.
So we'll include that in my beverages, but that was a little added bonus. So when you factor in my wife's drink, which I didn't pay for, she went and paid for it on her own because I went and got popcorn and she went to the bar.
Yeah.
That's $100 right there. Boom, at the movies.
Oh,
just like that.
Unbelievable.
$100, dude.
It's too much.
That's crazy.
Everything is too much. And not to go on a side rant, but obviously, if you know what I do, if you know, you know. But I love reading about economic stuff as a personal hobby. I love different pages to follow. And there was a Forbes article done that says, listen, everyone's talking about inflation being 7 to 9% increase this year. And this guy who's unbiased in Forbes, and he's a really good writer, and I can't think of his name, so I apologize in advance. He goes, I went out, and he goes, I just took the prices from last year, what I paid, and I looked at the same items this year. It's a 37% increase for the same items. He said 37%. He goes, that's not 9% inflation. He goes, that is a 30+% inflation rate. He goes, for no reason.
Yeah.
He goes, what I was buying last year is now $3 to $4 to $5 more in one calendar year. And then I don't know about anybody else, but my insurance, I have family insurance. I'm gonna be paying an extra $200 per month for the same insurance, and my deductible is going from a $9,000 family deductible to a $15,000 family deductible out of pocket. Why? Why is everything exploding this high up this fast too? It's just, I don't know, different topic. I know, I already know.
I mean, not trying to say I told you so.
Everything's gonna go up.
But I told you so.
I said it wouldn't. You did. I didn't. Some people said more. I said less.
Republicans are not the answers to all your problems.
Yeah.
But Democrats are definitely the cause
I know.
of them.
Big year next year. Everybody. I forgot where they were. They were in Florida somewhere, and some CNN reporter was walking around. He's like, who do you think's going to win the Republican primary? And first guy, Trump. The second guy goes, Donald Trump, in the most like American voice. Goes to the third guy, he goes, Trump. Fourth guy, what he said. And then it just keeps going. And then you get to a woman, the guy's like, ma'am, I've been asking everybody, what do you think? And she goes, he's not on the ticket, but I think Donald Trump's going to win. And I was just like, Jesus.
He's not on the ticket. No, he's definitely on the ticket. I
Nope,
can assure you.
she said he's not on the ticket. So whatever she was reading, I think she was reading like a DeSantis thing.
She must have been reading one of those things where they're trying to get him off the ticket and they keep losing in court. But anyway.
But that was just like this random place that people weren't lined up. They walked into it. He just straight up was like, I'm going to walk into this restaurant. I'm going to say who I am. I'm just gonna walk up people if they tell me off in real time. Hey, great, it's great TV, and I apologize for the language in advance. But he goes and he just walked in there, and everyone was very cordial. Everyone was like Trump. And the whole line at this bar, and the guy's like, "There you go."
Listen, man, if you're not feeling it, like, and I saw an article the other day. I forget where it was. It might have been the Atlantic, which again I don't really take as a serious publication, but they were like, well, if inflation is so bad, then why does everybody keep buying expensive shit? And it's basically like,
everything's expensive.
It's like, so inflation's my fault now? Like,
yes.
Like no, like I keep buying shit because I'm still trying to maintain, like,
and live.
I'm trying to live. Like, I'm not spending. I haven't bought a new car yet for that exact reason because I'm looking at the value of cars and I keep
March 2024. Watch the market crash for cars. Nope, I'm telling you right now.
That's my hope.
I'm telling you right now, the amount of inventory they have in 2023, and they've been sitting on for almost 2 months now, the 2024 inventory, they just have overparked lots. They're selling cars. The only thing that's holding back car market being on fire right now because they have to try to just get rid of materials is the rates, the loan rates.
Right, and that's the thing. The interest rates are absolutely insane, but
March. I'm circling March, like end of March.
My holdout, I was like, I'm holding out at least until May. That was my goal, was to keep my car on the road in functioning condition until May. And then, whatever happens in May, like by that point, it's like, all right, whatever happens. Like I gotta do something because I've maybe got another 6 to 8 months before my car is like.
You heard what happened to me?
Yeah. Your car almost shit the bed.
My car did shit the bed.
Yeah.
I tried leaving work and my car died in the middle of the road and I was like, well, fuck my life.
Yeah, you're like, oh, cool. Great. What a fantastic thing to happen to me. Yeah, it sucks because like, you look online and I'm looking at cars and like I'm looking at these prices of these cars and I'm like, I know what that car is. It's not worth that much. And you had all these fucking assholes during COVID when they knew people were getting $1,200, $2,400, whatever, like bonus money. People were getting paid to stay home, working under the table.
Absolutely.
And they called it, and it was on Facebook Marketplace. It was like, oh, why is the price of this so high? COVID tax, bro. COVID tax. COVID tax. And it's like, reap what you sow, motherfucker, because while you might have made more money off of that in that moment, you are going to pay that back tenfold down the line. Guaranteed.
We're already there. It wasn't even 2 full years.
Nope. Dummies. All of them. Fucking dummies.
Fucking.
It's like all you did was you made money for 5 seconds, and then now you're immediately back in the negative. And anybody who says they're not is probably a liar.
Oh, look at do you remember well, you didn't have a child, but I'm sure you heard about the child tax credit. We were getting a $300 monthly direct deposit for $300 for our one child. We didn't need the money. There was no way to decline it. It was you had to take it.
Whether or not you could, you weren't.
Did you know we did our taxes together? We basically had to pay all of that back minus $3. So the money we got for 6 months, $1,800.
Wait, you mean the government gave out money that wasn't free? Oh my goodness gracious! Wow, color me shocked.
We made $3.
That's incredible.
But imagine if I used it, I'd been fucked.
Imagine, oh yeah, made you feel good in the moment though, right? You're like,
no,
$300. You're like, no, I know that. When I got my first round of Trump bucks back in 2020,
I threw it to credit cards.
I was like,
debt.
I know this. I know I'm paying this back one way or another.
Yep.
So whatever, might as well take it. Can't deny it.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry, everybody. I didn't realize what time it was. We're still talking about Godzilla and the economy.
Oh wow, huh?
9:20. We're like,
well, we've only been on for 34 minutes. God damn. All right, let's get into some football because we could go on and on about the economy and politics and Godzilla.
I watched new guy. I can't do the Trump thing. I watched Godzilla. I said he was big, not the biggest. Maybe bigger. I've seen bigger. It wasn't good.
I wish it was better, but it wasn't. It is what it is, so I'll suffer through it. I won't see Godzilla versus Kong, whatever this new bullshit is.
I watched that trailer, and I legitimately laughed thinking about your reaction watching this trailer. And it almost was like that home. Do you watch The Boys, by the way, on Amazon?
No, but you're like the
Listen.
third person this week to tell me I got to watch it.
I've watched The Boys since day one, okay? But I'm a superhero person,
Yeah.
right? But this is superheroes if it really was in the world today, because the guy that wrote it was like, listen, if superheroes were real today, they would be political people, there'd be people pulling their strings, there'd be all these lobbyists. It really is good. And he goes, the main guy, Homelander, who's like the Superman of the world, is just an evil prick. He goes, imagine if Superman was just a
dick.
money, not even just a dick. He was purely evil, and he was just like doing things for this massive company that's paying him, and everything you see is just fake. It's acting, whatever, and so on and so forth. And then by the time they're in the season that's coming up now, there was he goes through like this flashback scene where he has to watch the movie he's in called The Seven, because it's like all the Justice League or Avengers, like it's part of it's called The Seven. And so he's watching this like made up bullshit movie of like how heroic they are. In the back of his mind, he's just like so burnt out of it. He's just staring at it, and he has nothing in the movie. He's just going through I imagine that being you watching the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer, just like you're seeing the images, but no sound or anything is coming through.
All you can
rage.
hear is the blood pumping through your head because
Yes,
your
just
blood
pure
pressure
rage.
is about to explode. Yeah.
The trailer made no sense, by the way. At all.
Once they showed like Kong with the iron fist, Godzilla with the pink spikes, I'm like, okay, I can get past all that, like whatever. And then they show Baby Kong, I'm like, oh no, we're going down this road now.
And then the baby mom is an orangutan, and she's like, "Stop! Break this fight up!"
Yeah.
The best.
I'm like, no.
I thought it was. I was like, this has to be fake, and people were like, this is a real image.
They're like, nope. They're gonna do exactly what they did to Marvel to the Godzilla franchise. They're gonna fucking ruin it.
Shout out the Marvels and Brie Larson for killing superhero movies. They're saying that might be the movie that has people stop making superhero movies, and I was like, wow, Brie Larson killed the superhero universe.
Would that be great?
She did it.
I know. She set out to kill it. She did. Good for her. Made her money in the process too.
They barely made half of the budget.
Wow.
So Disney took it right in the lip right there.
Whatever. Kathleen Kennedy's still like, put a chick in it.
They
make her gay.
They put 3 chicks and made all 3 of them gay.
Well, they tripled down on it. At least they stuck to their guns.
I don't get it.
All right, let's do some football.
All right, let's see.
What do you want to start with?
What was game 1?
What
was last Thursday's game? I forgot all about it already.
Last Thursday's game. So actually, funny you said that. It was that was the Seattle-Dallas game.
Oh, that was a good game.
And it was a good game. And it got me thinking, right? Because I'm sitting here going like, fuck. I'm like, this is a Thursday night game and it's good. What's going on here? And then it dawned on me. And I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier, because somebody said something to me and was like, oh, what happened to your theory? I thought all Thursday night games sucked. And I was like, yeah, they do. I said the problem with this game, or not the problem with this game, or the benefit that these two teams had was they both played on Thanksgiving. They both had 7 days off. They both had a regular schedule.
You're 100% right. I didn't think about that either.
And I'm like, yeah, there's your answer, ladies and gentlemen. Thursday night games still fucking suck. This one was the anomaly because both teams had 7 days off in between Thursday games.
Both quarterbacks threw for over 300 yards. Both quarterbacks had 3 touchdowns.
And it wasn't terribly poor football either.
DK Metcalf, fucking monster game.
Yeah.
For a monster human being. Who else? Who in the Cowboys killed it?
I mean, Deron Bland had another interception.
Deron Bland is like his own. Deron Bland has more touchdowns than the whole Patriots team combined.
He's got 6 pick sixes on the year.
That's more than every wide receiver in the Patriots combined.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
CeeDee Lamb crushed it that game. I don't know who Jacob Ferguson is. Is that the tight end now? Ferguson and I think Schoolmaker are both the tight ends now. Bland again with another fucking unbelievable, man. The one thing I'll say, that was a great game to watch, especially if you're a DK Metcalf fan. And I love those 90s Seahawks jerseys. I don't know
those
what
were
color
awesome.
Like that looks so good on today's TV.
Those are the old like Steve Largent jerseys. Like,
those look so good on today's TV. Where you watch old school games and you're like, the colors look like shit on TV.
Was
it
it
was
Daniel,
ugly.
Daniel Craig? Craig with a K?
No, it was Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig, right?
Yeah, and Steve Largent, you're right.
Not the actor.
No, not the
Not James
actor.
Bond.
Yeah, no. So, but these look beautiful. They should actually keep these jerseys and get rid of that.
I like them a lot better than the fucking neon green.
I'm all done
and
with
you
the
know
neon
me,
stuff.
I'm a huge fan of neon green. Huge fan.
Yeah.
Love. I like highlighter colors. Like
Well, I like the
pinks,
dark and neon.
greens, purples, reds, whatever highlighter, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Especially on the golf course, that's kind of my thing.
Well, I loved the Broncos when they had orange on orange with blue helmets.
I hated those.
I liked that a lot.
Hated
I
them.
thought it looked cool.
No, I did not like those.
That's the one
I
you
would
didn't
have.
like.
I would have liked them if they had like the orange jerseys with the blue pants. That
And
would
then
have
the
been
blue
cool.
helmet?
Or the blue jerseys with the orange pants. Like there was a couple variations they could have done with those. I hated the white on whites and I hated the orange on orange.
Well, give it time, because after this game, the even bigger news that we didn't even talk about was a regular New York reporter just posted a small snippet, retweeted it, and said Jamal Adams, like, yikes. And it was just
Yes.
like, let this guy, like, he let the guy run right by him, and Jamal Adams did like the one arm, like, you fucking got
Olay,
it.
yep.
Yeah, Olay bullshit from fucking Major League. Guy scores a touchdown. That gentleman, Jamal Adams, does the most scummiest thing possible. Goes and finds this guy's wife and puts yikes as a picture of her. She was pretty.
She wasn't ugly.
No, and everyone just destroyed him in the comments.
Yeah, that was a dickbag move on Jamal Adams' part. Like, one thing as a professional athlete that you have to be like okay with is being criticized by the media. This guy he's a certifiable media person. Like, he's not just some like random dude on Twitter, which wouldn't excuse it even if he was. But to go after somebody whose job it is to comment on the games,
It was on your effort on letting up what it was a go-ahead touchdown.
yeah. And
It was poor effort. And he just said, yikes, the poor effort.
And
Like,
then you did the one thing. Could you imagine if somebody went after the player's wife? Like, somebody made a comment in the media like about Jamal Adams' wife.
What, like Ted Johnson did to Vince Wilfork?
But even that wasn't that bad because that got blown over pretty quickly. But like the outrage that would ensue, like the Sarah Spains of the world, the Jamil Hills, all the ESPN, everybody at ESPN would be on there. Like, they would just be like beside themselves if that were the case. But when Jamal Adams does it, for the most part, like, he got dragged, but not nearly bad enough.
No, not at all.
Not nearly bad enough because nobody in the media was willing to go after him and defend him.
Nope.
Everybody just kind of pussed out on it, and they were like, there was a couple people that said some stuff.
And no,
I'm not gonna say
his agent backed him up. His agent was like, "Don't talk shit on social media. This is what happens." I'm like, "Dude, fuck this little midget of an agent you have too."
It's like, bro, I'll punch Jamal Adams right in his fucking face.
yeah, I'm sorry. Like Jamal Adams, I get it as
You
a
ain't
safety.
that tough.
No, Jamal Adams is not a big dude. I'm sorry. I'll say it right. I think I'm like twice the size of Jamal Adams, and I'm not an NFL player or shape at all. I'm pretty sure
How big is Jamal?
I think he's 5'10". I think he's 5'10", 215 is his actual stats. That's what I remember. I remember him coming out of college.
6'1", 210.
He's 6'1"?
Yeah.
See, I thought he was smaller than that. Still
Don't care. Smaller than me, bitch.
still smaller than me too. And I'm in not NFL shape. But I would have the same effort as him. Olay, just letting the guy run right by him and catch a touchdown. He's like, whatever, he beat me. It's like, dude, you're an NFL athlete. You're getting paid money, and the effort you put forth on a close game where your team is killing themselves against the Dallas Cowboys, and that was the effort you put out. Like the dude, I'm glad the Jets cut that dude. Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but then you have the audacity to go and pick on a media member's wife, not him.
Yeah, she didn't do anything.
What did she do? And then you talk shit on social media. This is what happens. Like, okay, first of all, you ain't Mike Tyson, bro. You ain't turning around and punching this dude in the face on an airplane.
We can't say
you ain't
any of
bad
the
like
stuff.
that. So
We
shut
can't-
the fuck up.
We can't say anything Mike Tyson used to say without getting banned. I'll F you until you love me.
I mean, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez said, no doesn't mean no. It just means find a different way.
Jesus, that's true.
So there's that. But, as we all know, Deshaun Watson and Ben Roethlisberger and
Yeah.
all the, Karl Malone were all team AOC on that one. But, yeah, the Jamal Adams thing was gross, dude. Like that just, I have no respect for somebody like that. Like, you listen, you want to go after the guy. You want to say something to him, like say something to him. Like, first of all, I'm sure his wife is probably like, I don't give a fuck. Like, whatever. Like, he can have his opinion about me. I don't really give a shit. Like, it's a cheap insult at that. Like, and I'm sure if we went back to Jamal Adams' tweet and looked at all the mentions, they were probably not in his favor.
No.
So
he deleted half the tweets.
Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah.
Of course he did. Because that's what chicken shit cowards do.
Yeah. He was a big bitch about the whole thing.
Because he is a big bitch,
He
and
really
he's been
is.
largely irrelevant for the last couple of years. So
If the Jets, I'm sorry, I will say this until I'm blue in the face. If the Jets don't want you, that's the end of your career.
nobody should.
That should be the end of your career. That team is desperate for anybody. That team right now doesn't have a quarterback because
their quarterback is telling them, "I'm all set."
Well, they activated Aaron Rodgers. They had the other kid play last week, whatever the other kid's name was. I can't think of his name.
Tommy.
No, you're thinking of DeVito. That's New York.
Right.
Whoever it was that played the 6th round pick that the Jets put in there, and then they activate Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers does some shuffling around. He's like, my Achilles doesn't feel as great as I think it does. And then they could turn back to Zach Wilson. Like, all right, you're up, kid. And Zach Wilson goes,
Tim Boyle and Trevor Siemian.
There we go. It wasn't Trevor Siemian. It was Boyle.
But T Money Wiggle did get out there and throw some balls.
Oh, my God.
You know me, I got a big soft spot for,
You love that dude
for T Money Wiggle.
Which is sad.
I have his autographed jersey in my closet.
I know you do. It's just even fucking funnier. Craziest thing is they look back to Zach Wilson. They're like, well, you're back in, kid. And he's like, the fuck I am.
Yeah.
He goes,
nah, man.
Because I ain't playing.
He's like, nah, I'm not good enough to start for this team. Sorry, bro.
Unbelievable.
Well, part of me is like, all right.
But at what point is the coach in trouble, though? What happened?
Oh, nothing. Salah should be fired. Well, I mean, you gotta burn this down because this is all Salah's doing.
I mean, the offense can do nothing.
He's
again.
He's mismanaged this team from day one,
The
and we said
defense-
it. We said it all summer.
That defense was a dominant. Now that defense can't do anything. I think the defense just gave up on the team. They just like,
Absolutely.
We don't care.
I mean, it's the same thing that happened to Denver last year.
Yeah.
They were keeping teams in. They were keeping the team in the games. The offense couldn't get it done, and finally Christmas rolled around. They gave up like 50 something to the Rams. And they were like, "Yeah, we're done."
Yeah. Exactly.
And that was it. Like, sorry, man, we were a top 5 unit through the first 12 weeks of the season. We can't keep this. Like, no, we're all set.
Right.
But we said it all fucking summer that we, especially after watching Hard Knocks, we did not trust this Jets team because the amount of hero worship that was going on for Aaron Rodgers from that coaching staff.
Obscene.
And that was what bothered me. Like, I can say, like, okay, if the players are gassed to have A-Rod, that's one thing. You know, you got Sauce Gardner out there being like, yo, this is going to be dope. Like,
Sure.
we're gonna hold teams under 20, and we're going to win 10, 12, 13 games, whatever. Like,
Sure.
and
as
a player, you're
fine.
allowed to believe that and allowed to say that.
These guys grew up watching
But
him play.
the coaches
Simping.
sitting there simping out for Aaron Rodgers, saying, like, just all smiles ear to ear, we got Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't matter what we do, we got Aaron Rodgers. Don't worry that you got beat for that touchdown. There's only 2 guys in the league that can make that throw, and you got one of them.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, but no, that's not true. There's 31 guys that can make that throw. Not all of them are going to make it every time, but they can all make that throw, I can assure you. That's why they're in the league. And the level of we got Aaron Rodgers, we don't got to do shit that I heard from the coaching staff listening to him in Hard Knocks.
And the GM.
It immediately was a red flag to me, and I'm so fucking glad we called this. Now, obviously, we didn't call Aaron Rodgers injury.
Dude,
but we
tell me
kind
about-
of did because we did say this offensive line wasn't going to be able to protect him,
then
and it
the
was
first-
going to be a problem
the
all
first-
year.
Was it the third
Fourth play of the year.
Fourth play of the year. There's Achilles. I'm like, I remember being at Pasta House, not Pasta House anymore.
Boca.
Thank you.
Great restaurant.
It was my mother-in-law's birthday. I'm sitting at the table for her family birthday,
Mo cheeks.
and then I hear the bar behind me. Oh no, Aaron Rodgers! Like just some random guy just like watching the game because obviously the clientele there is like classy, so they're not like watching football. I turn around and I'm like, ha! And then across the whole restaurant, and it's me laughing at Aaron Rodgers getting carted off the field. And I couldn't be happy. I'm sitting there eating pasta, like,
You came in that Tuesday night just glowing. Like,
'Cause I was
you
like-
came to the show that night just like on cloud 9. You're like, doesn't matter what the Patriots do now, the Jets are fucked. And that you're like, yep.
Because they were shoving it down your throat so much, like how good they were going to be. And we both said it. We were like, is anybody else watching Hard Knocks and how awful this is? And like they just worshiping this dude.
It was bad. It wasn't. And it wasn't like at least for me, maybe for you it was different, but I didn't go into it looking for something to drag the Jets down or say like, oh, this is negative, or this isn't good, or this isn't going to work.
Oh, I
went into it.
I intentionally was looking for something.
You were, but I wasn't.
Yeah,
I was rooting for the Jets this year. I wanted to see A-Rod do well.
To be fair, I thought I picked the Jets to do better last year, and I said that defense is great. And then this year they got Rodgers, and I was like, fuck that team. I don't want them to do shit.
I mean, all things equal, if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, this is probably an 8-4 team rather than a 4-8 team.
Oh, for sure.
But
Absolutely.
then again, I don't know. Looking at the offensive line, maybe Aaron Rodgers misses 3 or 4 games already. Maybe he doesn't rupture an Achilles, but maybe he ends up like Trevor Lawrence with a destroyed ankle at a bad time or whatever. It doesn't matter. The point was, you and I went into this season. We both watched Hard Knocks from two totally different ends of the spectrum. Yeah. I went into it with, I'm looking because I wanted to root for the Jets. I wanted the Jets to be good this year. I wanted to see A-Rod do well. They had a bunch of primetime games against a bunch of big-time opponents. I was excited to watch them, and I was excited to see what Aaron Rodgers was going to be able to do outside of Green Bay and how he was going to be able to extend his career, much like Brady and Manning did. And I'm like, all right, this is going to be great. I want the Jets to do well. You went into it going, fuck this team. I hate them. I want to see, show me the cracks. Show me the cracks so I can exploit them a little bit. And you and I both came to the same conclusion while being on two totally different ends of the spectrum. And we both said, oh, shit. Yeah, this ain't going to work. This is going to end poorly. It might not end like, oh, they're 6-11 and they missed the playoffs, even when Aaron Rodgers plays all the games. But we're like, This is not going to be a Super Bowl team.
They had they didn't actually do this, and I'm going to make a story to make it sound like they did. They had the trainers almost bathe his feet like he was Jesus, pouring water over his feet, be like, oh, Aaron, oh yeah, it's rubbing the way they worship this man, and they kept showing the different coaches we could give up a 70-yard bomb, it doesn't matter, we'll just get it right back, and I'm like, this is defensive backs coach talking, saying, don't worry if you give up a 70-yard bomb. We have Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, I don't want to. If I'm a player, I'm like, all right, so you're telling me don't worry about it if I get beat deep because we have Aaron Rodgers and he's going to just make up for everything now.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
No, and that's not the way it works. It's not the way it works in this league, and we knew that, and you and I saw that coming in. And now that they don't have Aaron Rodgers, and you're seeing just the gross mismanagement of this roster through and through by this incompetent coaching staff, it's just it all it does is drive home what we said even further.
Absolutely.
Because we nailed this one. We knocked this one out of the fucking park when we predicted that this was going to be a problem for the New York Football Jets coming into this season. Because they didn't have the coach. Everybody's sitting there going, oh, it's solid. Oh, they got Nathaniel Hackett. And I'm like, yeah, good luck with that. I was like, I don't know if you've noticed this, but, his last stint, even a guy who's considered one of his peers, all right? Coaches are like quarterbacks. It's a fraternity. Nobody ever really talks too much shit about each other. They all kind of have each other's backs, at least in public.
Not Belichick.
And Sean Payton comes out and he's like, that was the worst coaching job I've ever seen. Maybe ever in football.
And he admitted, he goes, all right, a bit of that is theatrics because I'm on TV and they want me to hype it up. But he goes, it was nothing personal. He's like, it was nothing personal. He just said, I really believe it was a horrible coaching job. And he goes, I'm not taking that back. And he has proven he was right. Yes, they lost early in the year and they all picked up Nathaniel Hackett and they juggled his tits in front of everybody. And they're like, oh, he beat you. And then, now, look at it. The Broncos, possibly playoff-bound team.
6-6, right in the thick of it.
If I had to bet on Buffalo or the Broncos, all my money's going on the Broncos.
Well, you'd be smart because we've already got the head-to-head against Buffalo.
I know, and that's the 6-6 record. They're both
now,
team record.
I think Buffalo's got Kansas City this weekend.
That's probably a loss.
And
they have the Patriots, too.
Then I think their schedule lightens up pretty well.
I'm going to be honest with you. I worry the Patriots beat Buffalo. I have that legitimate worry because the Buffalo Bills played us so bad when we played them, and our offense scored so easily against them.
Yeah,
I
the
didn't
last
understand
game you guys played was that was a really competitive game.
We beat the shit out of them, and it was close by accident, but the Patriots I think could have scored 30 points against them, and we can't score against anybody.
I know.
So I don't know what's happening in Buffalo right now.
Well, I think you're going to see another coaching change before the week. We said it a couple weeks ago after the Denver game.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You know, McDermott can't get out of his own way. You know, he's the reason why this team is floundering around at 500 right now, because they can't get it. They just can't get it right. Much like the Jets, they can't get the little things right, and this is becoming an issue.
Oh, 100%.
And again, and I say this all the time, you know, and I said it all offseason. I said coaching is extremely important in the NFL. Mm-hmm. People don't realize how important coaching truly is in the NFL. This isn't the NBA where, you know, you can sit there and be like, oh, hey, I don't know, what was it, Mike Brown. Here's LeBron James. Do you want to win Coach of the Year? Step 1, wear a suit. Step 2, Coach LeBron.
Step 2, ask LeBron. Who do you want? Who do you want in your team?
Yeah, who do you want in your team? There you go. Done and done, bro. Like that's all there is to it. And not to say that Brown was like a bad coach, but he wasn't great.
He was not great at all.
Now, in the NBA, you can get by on talent. You can get by on certain things. MLB, you can get by on, you know, all right, you know, you might make a bad pitching change, but, you know, your center fielder goes out and robs a home run or something, you know, whatever. There's different things that happen. In the NFL, you can't cover up for it.
No.
There's too many moving pieces. There's too much going on at every given moment that if you burn a timeout here, you could be fucking yourself 10 times harder down the road.
Absolutely.
You know, if you a procedure penalty here, a late play call getting in, whatever it might be, right? We could go. There's a billion different reasons why you can screw up an NFL game and you can lose, and that's why it's so hyper competitive. But we're looking at Robert Saleh and Sean McDermott right now as being two guys that are. I mean, everybody's like, you know, everybody's talking about Belichick being out the door this year, and I'm like,
better not.
And I laugh my ass off at that because I'm like, yeah, you're dumb. I'm like, if you get rid of Bill Belichick, you're dumber than I thought.
Yeah, but
or
by
if
the
you
way,
want Bill Belichick gone, you're dumber than I thought. But if you want to fire Saleh and McDermott, by all means, go right ahead.
dude, the Patriots, we just talked about
Staley,
it.
gone.
We talked about it off. Staley's 100% gone.
So you're gonna have the Jets, the Bills, and the Chargers
Staley,
as potential head coaching openings
Staley against
going into next year.
Let's be real. This Patriots team, very bad. Right?
Talent-wise, injury-wise, they're banged up. They don't have a lot of talent on offense. They had a lot of talent on defense. It all got hurt. It's one of those years. It's a bad year.
But still, we talked about it, the least amount of points over the last 4 weeks in the
46
NFL.
points.
Offense has scored, but the defense has allowed 46 over 4 games. Next to nothing. 6 points to the Chargers, who should have been able to have their way with us. Couldn't do anything. Same thing happened the week before and the week before that. The Patriots defense is playing out of their mind with nobody's playing on defense. Nobody's.
No, they've given up. You've given up 46 and scored 34.
The other thing that
30.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I think it's a little high.
30.
We took back J.C. Jackson, who is now starting for us, and the other corner we have is Sean Wade. Who?
Dear J.C. Elaine, I wrote to explain I'm your biggest fan.
Oh, and we also let go of Jack Jones. We were just like, hey, you know, he's not happy. He's doing a bunch of crazy shit.
Just wanted
we're all
to
done.
ask, could I eat your ass right back as soon as you can?
But I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like if you want Belichick gone with the job he's doing in this defense. Yes, if you want to blame him for the offense, absolutely. But in 24 seasons, the guy's had 2 bad years.
Yeah.
2000 and 2023.
And everybody will say, yeah, one of those 2 things have in common. He didn't have Tom Brady. And it's like, oh, wow, wait, hold on. He didn't have a Hall of Fame quarterback under center, and they struggled? Oh, my goodness gracious. Wow, that's incredible. Like, you would imagine, you would think the way Patriots fans talk that they didn't go 10 years without winning a Super Bowl, you know,
It's
from
been
04
5.
to 14. No, from 04 to 14.
Yeah.
You know, like you would think they never, you know, they won the Super Bowl every year when Brady was here.
Yeah.
You know, they completely ignore all Brady's shortcomings in the postseasons and everything else and all the games he lost and you know like you know everybody's like, "Oh, well, the undefeated season." It's like, "Well, Brady gave us the lead with 4 minutes to go." It's like, "Yeah, but he only scored fucking 14 or 17 points." Like or 14, whatever.
I remember.
It's like, you know, nah. Like I'm not letting you off the hook that easy. Like, no. Like, if we're going to give Brady all the props for the wins, for the 6 wins.
He had a rough 09. He had a rough 2010.
2010, they got murdered by the Jets. He was the MVP that year.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like even then, now I think that's the year he had three interceptions for the whole year.
Yeah, I think he was like 34-3 or something like
Yeah,
that.
but that was still a rough year for him too, because his stats, like besides being 34-3 and having a great touchdown interception ratio.
No, he killed it that year.
I don't think, dude. I would be
2010,
watching.
no, they were 14-2 that year, and they lost to the Jets.
So what year am I thinking of? 2012 then?
2011 that
Super Bowl.
was the Super Bowl year, but the defense was bad. 2012 they got slapped by the Ravens.
Yeah, and that was it's over. The dynasty's done, and that was Ray Rice and Ray Lewis saying it's over.
It's over. And then 13 they went on the road in
That was
Denver.
the Jets one. No,
in Denver.
13. You're right, and
They
that was
lost to
with
Denver.
That was when they got murdered because we had no wide receiving core. We had Matthew Slater catching balls deep.
Yep. And then Wes Welker took out Aqib Talib early.
Yep.
And they just kind of, the Broncos did their thing. 14, they win the Super Bowl. 15, they lose to Denver again. 16, they win the Super Bowl.
17, lose the Super Bowl.
17, lose it.
18 win
win
the
it.
Super Bowl.
19,
Brady's gone.
That's it. Brady's last pass as a Patriot is a pick six.
And Logan Ryan, shout out, just signed with the 49ers today.
Yeah. So there you have it. But you would think like you would never know. 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 11, 12, and 13. You would never know those years happened if you listen to Patriots fans.
I know.
When they talk about Belichick and Brady and who was more integral and everything. The only reason why you were even in those games, in those Super Bowls, in those positions to win during those years was because of Bill Belichick.
100%.
Like you don't have that long sustained success because of one quarterback. Because if that was the case, Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, John Elway, Joe Montana, Steve Young, all these guys would have these long periods of sustained, consistent, high-level success that Brady did. They would all have it. But that's not the case. They didn't have, Marino never had Belichick. Manning never had Belichick. And that's not the shit on Kubiak or Dungy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just is what it is, dude. Like those guys were not as good as Bill Belichick, and that's not saying like it's not a knock on them. It's just saying like, dude, you're not you're not the greatest quarterback coach of all time in any sport. My bad. Like I hate to break it to you, but only one guy gets that title, and it's Bill Belichick.
He has to do the radio program every morning on WEEI.
Yeah.
I don't listen to any of it because I can't stand.
Well, I boycotted EI when they fired Kirk and Callahan. So
I remember. And they
haven't listened to it since.
They asked Belichick something which I think was very telling, and they asked Belichick like, how do you cope with like the record of being 2-10 and like what do you do? And Belichick's answer was very good, and he just gave like a very methodic answer. And he goes, I believe in 8 out of the 10 losses we were one score from winning. And I had to go back and check, and he's right. Of the 10 games we lost, 8 were less than a touchdown or less.
Yeah.
So even with the team being this bad, they were always one score away from winning. And then like they followed it up like after Bill Belichick left that press conference. I was like, wow, like, that doesn't seem like that, but he's right. They asked Matthew Slater, who came out a little bit later, and Matthew Slater was like, you're the longest tenured person on this team. How has Bill been as a coach? Like, is he different? Is he more relaxed with you guys? Is he allowing things to go? And he said, he goes, Bill's an iron sharpens iron type of guy.
Yep.
And he goes, he's actually probably been more on point, and his meetings have been more thorough now than they have in the last few years.
Makes sense.
He's like, so I think to me, watching Bill and knowing how Bill is for my course of my career, I think it really bothers him, and he feels it puts more pressure on him to be better, and it's not necessarily a him problem as a we, us, the players problem. And I thought that was a very good answer by Matthew Slater, obviously, because he's obviously a captain, been there forever. But he was just like, no, Bill's like more determined than ever. Even in the clubhouse, like the guys are like, no, Bill like is here and he's telling us you should do this, we need to do this. And he goes, and Matt was like, basically, he goes, you've seen the output on defense and it's done great. He goes, you just haven't seen that production on the offense.
Right. And that's where they're at right now. Like maybe Mac took a step back this year. I don't think anybody can argue that. You and I both thought it was going to be.
I can't believe I was that wrong on Mac.
Same.
There was no way.
I mean, I've been wrong before, not usually, but it happens. But I don't think I've ever whiffed this hard.
Me too.
On a player and their in terms of the trajectory of their development.
Like I get it. I get that the wide receivers suck. I get the offensive line is bad. But I never would have guessed Mac would have like folded like this. Like
a cheap suit, dude.
Like afraid to throw down
maybe
field.
maybe we should have known when he was like crying, getting carted off with the ankle injury a couple like last year, like he was like squealing in pain. Maybe that was a bigger red flag.
You're right, and I was like, nah, maybe he
But
thought it was worse.
Off.
Yeah,
I blew it off. I'm like, well, whatever, dude. Maybe the guy doesn't have a great pain tolerance. Like, as somebody who has no pain tolerance whatsoever, like me, like I get like a hangnail, and I immediately want to just like I'm like fire the nukes, kill everybody. Like this is pissing me off. Like if I hit my head on something, my initial reaction is to remove whatever I hit my head on from existence. You know what I mean? Whether it's a kitchen counter, a table, doesn't matter. I have no ability to tolerate pain at all.
Right.
Which is why I couldn't do like when I was, when I went and trained and did like mixed martial arts and stuff like that. Like I couldn't do it because I'm like, no, like ow, and like I don't want to be punched in the face.
it sucks. It's shocking. It's jarring.
I'm just not that dude. Like if you hit me in the face and you hurt me, I'm going to end you. Or you're going to have to end me. One way or the other, someone's going to die.
I told my wife, I was like, if you ever want to do like a bucket list thing for me, I'm like, send me to like a wrestling academy for like a week or two. I'm like, I know it's going to beat the shit out of me and I'm going to be like violently ill and be like in pain, but I was like, I would love it.
Yeah.
Because that's just something I would enjoy.
I wouldn't because I don't want to be in like I don't mind being in pain like in terms of like all right like pain from like the gym, right? Like
that's
right
different
now,
kind of pain.
Like my elbows hurt, my bicep, I have tendonitis in my biceps.
Different kind of pain.
My shoulders are hurting, like everything hurts,
It's
like I'm
cold,
sore.
yes.
Things are in pain. Like I'm a month and a half away from turning 39. Like I'm not, I'm not a spring chicken anymore, right? And I don't have that magical sauce like some people do.
Yeah.
Where I can, just be like, and hey, look at me, I'm good. And not to say that those people are wrong. I fully support their decision to do so, and I wish I wasn't so much of a pussy and I would adapt that lifestyle. But I just don't. I like my vodka and I like chicken wings, so I don't go down that road.
Chicken wing.
But things hurt. And,
yeah, of course.
And I can tolerate that. You learn to live with it, but like. There's just certain things I can't handle, and like sharp, quick, like inexplicable or unsuspecting pain. Like like people like to walk up to me. I'm a big guy, right? Obviously, I'm 6'3", 310 pounds. People walk up to me and they love to slap me or pinch me or do stuff like, hey, like if somebody comes up to me and does like the tricep pinch in the back. I'm like, dog, don't do that to me. Like, because I'm going to throw my elbow into your chin and whatever. I'm not paying for your dental record. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, it's not happening. I don't do that to people, and I don't expect it to be done to me.
Yeah.
Joey Fats Radio, roll 1C1.
What's going on, big dog?
All
Durant.
Durant's a perfect segue to get into this because there's a somewhat Patriot Raider connection here in a moment. But, Durant, what's going on? What's on your mind?
Nothing, man. Just wanted to talk some football, see where you guys are at with everything.
Well, I'm glad you called because I mentioned it. My voice just went puberty there. There's a rumor going around that the Raiders might release Jimmy Garoppolo like during the season still. I don't know why. I don't know if something happened. I don't know if it's a salary cap move, but have you heard that?
I haven't heard that. I just saw according to what I saw, our best bet would for him to be a June 1st cut.
Okay, that's
that
next
offseason.
offseason.
Bet as far as money wise, like dead money.
Well, I didn't know if there was like a locker room thing where he was kind of being disruptive or being a dick, being like, this fucking sucks being here. Like I'm backing up like this kid. You know what I mean? If he's healthy, because the reason why. Yeah. The reason why Albert Breer brought it up, and he's still connected with the Patriots quite a bit from all his sources that he has here, and he said, and by the way, he is a man crush and a half on Jimmy Garoppolo. He loves fucking Jimmy Garoppolo, Albert Breer. So Albert Breer had mentioned, let's hypothetically say the Raiders do release Jimmy Garoppolo before the end of the season. He said it is a league-known fact that he would be signed by the Patriots immediately and start right away by the Patriots immediately. Me being a Patriots fan, I'm conflicted because, A, I want to lose out at this point. I really would like to just lose out, get a top draft pick, draft a quarterback, because the Mac experiment is over. I was wrong. This is year 3. He needed to prove it or break it, and he didn't prove it, so it's over. So
I was never big on Mac Jones from the beginning.
I
stood firm on that.
I know, yeah, you've been firm on that.
I think he's his. Yeah. So
He was.
whatever.
We were sold a bill of goods that he's not the most powerful arm, not the most, not greatest intangibles or anything, but he was smart and he was methodical. And when we were sold that, we were like, we can work with that. And when you saw him this year, he was neither smart nor methodical. So that way, it's just like nothing's working for you at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about bringing back Jimmy Garoppolo again and then doing that whole thing again. Like, it's been 10 years since we drafted him. Is that something I really want to go through? Yes, he's going to be a better option than everybody else we have on the team. Yes, he would probably help us win games immediately, which I would absolutely hate. But at the same time, I just want to get away from that kind of mentality. I just want to start over fresh with somebody new. I don't know how that would make you feel as a Raiders fan.
I mean, anyone who kind of knows a thing or two about football knows like Jimmy G isn't in their future plans. I mean,
he's the current bridge version of a quarterback.
There's no way. There's
right?
just no way.
So he's not the Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's not that much of a journeyman where he's just like backup. He tends to go to a place, stick for a few years, and then moves on. So he's more along the lines of, oh God, I'm trying to think of a guy from like early 2000s or 90s. Maybe like not a Hasselbeck, because Hasselbeck stuck around for a few years. Even both Hasselbecks
Dude,
did.
he's like Chad Pennington, dude.
No, Chad Pennington was basically two teams. He was Jets and Dolphins, and that was pretty much it. I'm trying to think of
All right, so Fitzpatrick then.
No, Fitzpatrick was too many teams. Fitzpatrick was like every freaking team under the sun. I want to say he was like almost like a Vinny Testaverde type. You know what I mean? Great arm, like has the ability. Never can put it all together for one team, but has been
Jimmy
able to
doesn't
start.
really have a good arm. I mean,
no, he does. He has power.
There's no tape that exists of him throwing the ball down the field.
Oh, yes, there is. Oh, plenty.
Not this season.
No, not with the Raiders. No, absolutely not. But there is absolutely tape of him throwing it down the field. Is he making the completion? No. But there's absolutely tape of him throwing it down the field. I mean,
the one time he tried throwing it down the field, he absolutely overthrew Devontae Adams, like when he was super wide open.
Well, also in the Super Bowl, too, he overthrew the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. So, that's a big one.
To your point, I was going to say Vinny Testaverde or Kurt Warner.
Okay, Kurt Warner did flop around in there a bit until
he went to the Giants and the Cards.
Well, the Cards he ended up sticking.
For a little bit, yeah.
So Rams, Giants. Was there another team between
Cardinals?
Rams, yeah, no, Cardinals Super Bowl again.
Yep. But yeah, those are your early 2000s journeyman guys.
Yeah, I think Testaverde was like a better one. Just because has the ability to start.
Jeff Garcia.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, too. The Rat.
Yeah.
Terrell Owens.
San Fran.
Terrell Owens called him a homosexual rat.
He went to San Fran to the Browns. Then I think he went to Philly as a backup. I have to look.
Who, Garcia?
Yeah.
Probably. He went to a bunch of teams at the end because he couldn't stick around anywhere. They said he was a locker room cancer.
What do you guys think right now? What are we in, like week 13?
We're in week 13, sadly. We got 5 more weeks of this shit for me.
You guys think the Niners are still the best team in football?
No. Because they're
what? No, yes, absolutely.
The
Unequivocally.
49ers,
they smashed Dallas.
Listen.
They smashed Philly.
I said when they were in the middle of their 3-game losing streak, they were still the best team in the NFL.
I don't know.
And I was right. Jeff Garcia, San Francisco, Cleveland, Detroit, Philly, Tampa, and then back to Philly for one more stint.
Damn. I forgot about Detroit.
I think Garcia was on the Raiders at one point, too.
Not according to Pro Football Reference, but
Maybe he was in training camp and they cut him.
Yeah, if you had told me he was, I would have believed you, but not according to this, he wasn't. He was in Tampa.
No, I think I'm thinking of Jeff George. You guys remember Jeff George?
Hell yeah, I remember
God,
Jeff George.
Jeff George, yes.
He was he was Jay Cutler before Jay Cutler.
Jeff George, I don't know if you know this true story. He showed up to the Vikings facility when he was a free agent after like 2 or 3 years not playing in the NFL. He brought a tire and a metal garbage can, and he stood in the parking lot throwing a ball through a tire from 40 yards away, trying to impress the front office, and they just never fucking talked to him.
No, Durant, to your point, I think the San Francisco 49ers are the best team in the NFL. I think it's their Super Bowl to lose.
I think.
And the way that, because Durant's right, they beat the shit out of Dallas, right? They had that 3-game losing streak where everybody was like, oh, overrated. Brock Purdy sucks. I told you. It's like no. They were banged up.
Yeah,
They were injured. Now they're healthy. And what they did to Philly on Sunday, and just walk into the link and straight bully the shit out of the Philadelphia Eagles. To me, that was the biggest statement win of the year.
I still think.
And Brock Purdy's good, man. He's poised.
I have no problem with Brock.
He's got to be the front runner for MVP right now, right?
No, everyone wants to say Tyreek.
No, he'll get Offensive Player of the Year, but it'll go to a quarterback.
I can't stand Tyreek at all. I still think even though the 49ers beat the Eagles, I think the Eagles are probably a more complete team health-wise.
Did you guys see that Goodell wants to try to ban the tush push for next year?
Oh, yeah, I already know. Yeah, he's a fucking loser.
Which is stupid because they want to ban a football play.
Honestly,
I mean, I would be totally fine if you eliminate like the 1 yard QB sneak thing from football altogether. Like, line up and hand to a running back, I would be completely fine with that. I fucking hate that play because it's fucking basically unstoppable.
Yeah,
I mean, Brady made a fucking living off of it. You always knew when you got in third and short,
years.
3rd and 1, 4th and 1.
Absolutely.
Oh, here it comes. We all know what's coming.
100%.
Nobody can stop it.
Nope.
And I fucking hate the play. I loathe it. But it's football, so you can't get rid of it. Because if you get rid of that, then what? Now we're going to get rid of fullback dives?
Yes.
Are we going to get rid of what else are we going to get rid
no,
of?
they want to get rid of fullback dives because
the
you're
fullback
diving
is
with your
almost
head.
non-existent these days. There's very few teams that run a fullback.
Yeah, because they're losers. I hate that. Oh, but there's so many rules against it. That's why, because you can't lower your head and force yourself into things. So that's why they're trying to avoid.
Could you imagine
by doing
Lorenzo
that.
Neal trying to make a living in today's NFL?
What about Mike Allstott? Mike Allstott would have been banned from football after 2 years.
All those great Ray Lewis hits would be 15-yard penalties.
Oh, Ray
100%.
Ray Lewis would have killed a guy in real life on field.
Sean Taylor would be forced to retire.
Oh my God, I know. I still want to say Philadelphia's. I'm going to say Philadelphia's the best team in the league. I know they lost. I think they're the most complete team from head to toe, and they just signed Darius Leonard.
But how can you say they're the most complete team when they just got beat down in their own house? And I'm not saying like they lost a close
They
one.
had to Chase Young before the deadline.
They got their cheeks clapped.
I know.
At home.
I know.
By what is now finally a healthy 49ers team. Actually, and they're still minus my boy
in the
Hufanga.
NFC, the Dallas Cowboys.
Say that again.
You could make an argument. No, I'm saying the next best team after Philly. You can make a case the Cowboys.
Well,
they got waxed by the Niners also.
You don't like
the
Detroit?
Niners are waxing up good teams.
You don't like Detroit? The Lions are 9-3.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the Niners' 3 losses, right? They scored 17 points in all 3 of those games. They gave up 19 to the Cleveland Browns, which that game was like they lost that at the gun. They had the chance to win on the field goal. 22 they gave up at Minnesota, which that was we were like who what? The Vikings, really?
Yeah,
that team's trash.
I'm still iffy on the Lions. They got beat pretty bad by Green Bay on Thanksgiving. They got fucked up by Baltimore. I'm not sure where their 3rd loss came from, but I don't know. I feel like Lions are still missing something.
The Lions had a chance.
I don't know if Goff's going to hold them back a little bit.
The Lions had a chance to be the 1 seed in the NFC, but then they blew that game to Green Bay on Thanksgiving, and that was kind of the end of that. Like,
the Lions always find a way to fuck up themselves on Thanksgiving.
yeah, and if you look at
you
look right now, you look at the Niners' schedule left. They get Seattle, Baltimore, and the Rams at home, and they're at Arizona and at Washington. And that Baltimore game is on Christmas Day, Christmas night, 8:15 Christmas night. So that's a huge game because that could be a potential Super Bowl preview. I don't think the Ravens are going to get there. I don't think you're as good as advertised, but it could be. And then on top of that, when you look at Dallas, and here's the thing with Dallas and Philadelphia is we've still got that Dallas-Philly game coming up on Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday night this week.
I think Philly beats them.
This is going to be a huge game. Well, it's in Dallas, so
I know.
They got that going for them.
Dallas always tends to fold to Philadelphia lately.
But Dallas then is at Buffalo and at Miami back-to-back weeks, and they get the Lions and then the Commanders to close out the year in that order. I still think Philly's going to win this division, but if Dallas is able to put it on Philly and kind of sense that blood in the water and say, hey, this team might be vulnerable right now, you never know how things go. Where Tua gets a concussion, or Josh Allen turns back into a pumpkin and throws 5 interceptions, and Dallas goes and rips off 2 wins, 3 wins in a row, and all of a sudden they got 2 games left with a game lead in the division. Shit can go crazy. That could get a little nutty.
Yeah, but I mean, all said and done, it's like you said, it's the Niners to lose. I would say. I think they're way too deep on both sides. I think you have the best running back in football in Christian McCaffrey.
I mean, yeah. Who do you like? I just don't see any other team in the league that plays as good of complementary football as the Niners do. Now, Philadelphia would have been in that conversation.
Come playoff time, they'll have a run game and they'll have a defense.
And if they get the 1 seed and they're the only team that gets that first week off,
Tony Pollard hasn't really been it for them.
Nope.
And DeAndre Swift was a nice addition for Philly. I do like that for them, but I still don't think they're going to run the ball the way the Niners can and the things they can do, and that Shanahan offense, the things they do with Debo and.
Listen, getting Debo back healthy, Ayuk back healthy, McCaffrey up and running. And Purdy, getting these guys back and getting.
They got it all, man. George Kittle, they got the offensive line.
They really do. I mean, and even on defense, even they lose a guy like Hufanga for the year, which killed me because I love him. He's my favorite player on that defense.
That's a tough loss.
But that linebacker trio is still the best in the league, and it's not even close. Like the Niners, by getting rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, the Niners gave themselves a chance to win the Super Bowl. Because what did we always say? What did we say the year when they lost to the Packers in the divisional round a couple years, 2 years ago? And
which part?
Jimmy Garoppolo is going to make those throws where you're just going to go, Jesus fucking Christ. What
Jesus,
the fuck is
Jimmy.
that?
Yeah.
The Jesus Jimmy throws.
And good thing he'll be back on the Patriots soon enough.
I mean, I heard you say that when I was downstairs. I had to take a piss with that. That's why I had to get up.
No, you're cool.
No, I just think the Niners making that move for Chase Young, it's similar to like the Rams did, adding Von Miller.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. And you watch. Chase Young has been pretty quiet so far since he's been in San Francisco.
I mean, he just got there.
But here's the thing. Guys like Chase Young will show up in the NFC Championship, in the Super Bowl, in the divisional round, whatever it is. They show up in those big spots when you need them. That's why you go get those guys. Remember, Von Miller didn't do much with L.A. until the playoffs.
If they get you a ring, it was worth that 3rd-round pick. 100%.
Absolutely.
Even if you lose them and you can't afford them after this year.
You find me one franchise in the history of the football world that says I wouldn't trade a 3rd-round pick for a Super Bowl, and I'll give you my house.
Right. The Rams did a 2nd-round pick for a Super Bowl.
Right, exactly.
So,
and it was worth it.
Yep.
I mean, and look
now
at
the AFC, man. I mean, you got your Broncos, you got Texans, you got Bills floating around at 6-6.
I mean, you know what kills me?
The Chiefs don't hold the bye as of right now. I mean, what do you guys think with the AFC? It's super wide open.
We talked about in the beginning of the show. The AFC is, like I said, it's thicker than Johnny Sins mid-set. You got the Niners, you got the Dolphins and the Ravens tied at 9-3. Jacksonville loses Trevor Lawrence last night for God knows how long, and they lose Christian Kirk.
It's over.
By the way, could you have gotten any luckier this week in fantasy?
Nope.
Durant, I played Sean this week, right? My fantasy playoff hopes were on the line. I played Sean this week.
I did pretty good.
I lose Trevor Lawrence, Christian Kirk, and Tank Dell all in the same week.
But you should have beat me if those two guys played.
If Tank Dell had played and Christian Kirk had played, I would have won.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
But I lose both of them. I'm like, God damn it! This is why I hate fantasy.
God.
So
fantasy sucks, man. For me, I'm out of it in my league. I tried to make the splash move, and I drafted Mahomes in the 2nd round, and he got me 15 points while Brock Purdy was on my bench with 38 points.
Yeah, I know.
That was the slap in the face. Yep. That's where you went wrong.
Yep, trust me, I had Derrick Henry on my bench at 25 points this week.
I'll be waiting much later in drafts for quarterbacks. I don't know why I didn't stick to that theory.
That's not like you.
Mahomes
that's not like you at all.
No.
You're good at finding value late in rounds. I've played in enough leagues with you. You know, I remember when you took Tony Romo in like the 8th round that year. He threw 40 touchdowns, and you went undefeated.
Yeah. Randy Moss in the 5th round was the
that
gold.
was kind of the killer. But yeah, you had LT that year.
Because I mean, it's just crazy how
Jamal
nobody
Lewis.
took a chance. Like, hey, Randy Moss is going to be with Tom Brady. Like, people
I
didn't, I don't know.
I
Like, him to be there in the
honestly
5th round
I
still,
didn't
like,
draft him because I was still in my refuse to draft Patriots phase of my life.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's
Nah,
not
I
a
was
chance in
there.
hell
I
I'm
was
rooting
there
for this
once upon
asshole.
a time, but you gotta.
But if you want to win, sometimes
Listen, if you want the perfect season, you gotta leave your ego out of
you
it.
do. But what kills so the AFC, like I said, 9-3. You got Baltimore and Miami, and then you've got Indy and Houston tied at 7-5, and then you've got.
I like what Indy's doing.
Buffalo,
I like what Indy's doing.
Cincy,
I think
and
Minshew
Denver at
can be
6-6.
enough to get them there.
Listen, man, welcome to the Min Show, baby. Can we give the fucking Indianapolis Colts some props? They lose their stud rookie quarterback, early in the season.
I know.
And Gardner Minshew not only shows up and continues to play well,
He's been killing it.
he's doing arguably
Do the
better
Colts
than
play the
anybody
Texans
expected.
this week? I believe it's this week.
I think you might be right.
That's gonna be a hell of a game, man.
No, the Colts have the Bengals. The Colts close out the season with Houston.
Okay. I
Houston
think that's what I
plays
saw, maybe.
this week. Houston is at the Jets.
Gotcha.
So that's the thing. And, it kills me because, the Broncos were, 15 yards away from being able to close out the Texans and what was probably Russ's worst game of the season this year, and they still had a chance to win it at the end.
Yeah.
And, Cortland Sutton had a case of the dropsies early in the game, kind of killed us. But, yeah, Russ, that one was on Russ. And
Yep.
but you look at it, and it's like, damn, Denver's only, we're only 2 games out of the division lead.
Oh yeah, it's like you always say, the NFL. It's just the difference between 7-5 and 5-7 is just it's inches.
It's a couple
so
plays,
minimal.
dude. Every year you can
I
narrow
look at the
you can
Bills
narrow
game
every
with you
every
guys,
every
you
every
guys
season
should've
comes
lost
down to
the
6
Bills.
plays.
You guys should have lost to the Bills.
Should have
They had
lost to the
12 men on
Bills.
field.
Probably should have lost to the Vikings. Probably should have lost. We probably should have lost a lot of games.
Durant,
The Bears,
not
the Bears game, you guys came back and won.
Yep. Granted, we
They're up
probably
28-7 on you guys.
we right, but we should have beat the Commanders when we were up 21-0. So
Yeah.
goes either way.
Yeah, you could go both ways with
But
it,
you're right. It's
100%.
just there's so many plays every year that you can narrow it down. Any team, like I always used to say, the
even
difference-
even me. I just talked about it earlier in the show. Belichick came out and said 8 of the 10 losses have been 7 points
I
or
think it's
less.
fair to say though, the Sean Payton effect is real. It was a good hire.
I fucking knew that
And,
from day one.
You guys should be much better for years to come, for sure.
I mean, I
You guys
fucking hope so.
You guys are pretty bad the past 5 years. You guys haven't beat us in the last
7 years.
three or four, maybe.
No, we're what 7 straight losses to you guys now.
Jesus Christ.
So 3.5 years. We got one more game against you guys this year to try to end that streak.
Yeah, to finish off the season. It could be for a playoff spot.
It could be. You never know, dude. The way the AFC is going right now, like it's wide open. And that's the thing. Like even at 6-6, let's say hypothetically a team like Denver runs the table. That's an 11-6 team.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty fucking respectable record. Like that's 11-5 most years, or 10-6, depending on how you want to go with it. So that's a pretty respectable wild card team. And then you got the Cardinals, the Colts, and the Texans. And then but the thing is like you look at the AFC standings right now, and this is what fucking kills me is that. You've got Pittsburgh at 7-5, Pittsburgh and Cleveland at 7-5, who have no offense to speak of whatsoever.
Pittsburgh just lost Kenny Pickett.
And they lost Kenny Pickett.
And they lost to the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep. You've got
Thank God.
You've got Indianapolis and Houston both at 7-5, and you're like, okay, those are 2 teams that are trending upward, but both have their faults. Both are vulnerable. And
Who was
then
that? Indy and who?
Houston. And then you
I
got
thought Houston was 6-6, like you guys. No.
No, we're 1 game more than they are right now.
Okay, so
Or
they're
less.
7-5. Also.
Yeah, they're 7-5. They haven't had their bye yet.
Tank Dell was a big loss.
but I was gonna
man,
say,
I
they
like
lose-
What the
they-
Texans are doing, man.
they lose
I
Tank
mean,
Dell for the
they
season?
They probably scored the best 2 players in this draft, and C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson.
Will Anderson was fucking everywhere. on Sunday.
He was fucking
Yeah, he's been
everywhere.
playing, man.
It was
He's had a few
insane.
other good games as well. They might have got the best 2 players in this draft.
You could
They
be
gave
right.
up a little bit of next year's draft, but I mean, definitely like what they've done so far.
And then you look at, you got Cincinnati at 6-6, where they're sitting there looking at Browning now. All of a sudden, they're like, "Well, we're not dead yet." Mm-hmm.
No.
And should
Still
they have
got all
lost
those
that game
weapons
last
on
night?
offense.
Yes, but the Jags lose Trevor Lawrence. Like, all of a sudden, Jacksonville at 8-4. Now they're without Trevor Lawrence. What do they become?
Honestly, who the
You know,
fuck
no
knows?
Trevor Lawrence, no Christian Kirk. You know, do they lose out? I mean,
Yeah, be nice to have Minshew right now.
yeah, no shit. I mean, and you look at the Jags schedule, they're at Cleveland, they get Baltimore, they're at Tampa, and then the Panthers
I mean,
at home,
even
and then at
Cleveland's still in
Tennessee.
it.
That's not an easy, like, those aren't layups by any means. At Cleveland, that's a smothering defense. Do we really think Beathard is going to go in there and lead that team to a win again in Cleveland against that defense? I don't know. Baltimore probably should wipe the floor with them. At Tampa, all of a sudden, that doesn't look like the layup that it should have been. Mm-mm. I mean,
Yeah. Now we've had a lot of quarterback injuries this year. Do you think it's because of the turf? Do you think that's something we'll ever see the NFL get rid of?
Oh, God.
What's your guys' take on that?
I think they're going to ultimately get rid of turf because I think you're starting to see a lot more evidence that's coming out saying like turf is actually worse because there's no give to it, right? Like there's you and I, like Durant, you and I, like we've both played on turf. Sean,
Right.
you've played on turf before, whether it was flag, backyard,
Oh yeah, no, I've played on turf.
collegiate.
Absolutely.
Like I've played on both in pads, and it's a different. I loved turf when I was
Yeah.
playing.
Those little black
It-
balls
it-
getting in your mouth and eyes,
It's
though.
exactly like you said. There's no give. It
But
doesn't
they-
have the
yeah.
give of.
Your
That's
foot goes
natural.
in. If your foot gets dug in and that cleat locks into the turf, there's
There's some give. It's not
as much as regular grass.
you,
But let's look
cold ground though. Cold
let's
ground's
look
the
at-
fucking worst.
to Durant's point. Let's look at the injuries that we're talking about here, right?
Yeah,
Joe
You
Burrow.
have to look at the data and see who's getting hurt on turf
But
and grass.
Joe Burrow-
I mean, they can't
non-contact.
all be
Joe
on
Burrow
turf,
was
right?
Joe Burrow didn't get hurt because of turf.
Non-contact.
Trevor Lawrence didn't get hurt because of turf.
Non-contact.
Who else? Who else? Anthony Richardson didn't get hurt because of turf.
Well, yeah, he was just straight up getting too many
Aaron
hits.
Rodgers didn't get hurt because of the turf.
I think that was turf, wasn't it?
No,
Aaron
No,
The-
it was
the-
on turf, but it wasn't because of the
Yeah,
turf. It
no.
just a ruptured Achilles is a ruptured Achilles, whether it's
Yeah.
grass or turf. It's not really
You
going
don't
to make a
think
difference.
there would have been some give there if he spun him around on?
I mean, maybe, but the way that injury happened, no, I don't really think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
gotcha.
it's tough to tell. Listen, at best, I'll say it's tough to tell, right? Like it's not,
Yep.
it's not a slam dunk either way. Who else has gotten hurt? That's big this year that we lost.
Oh,
Kirk
God.
Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. But
That wasn't because of turf.
how did he get hurt? I can't even remember anymore. It feels like months ago. It was only like
does.
6
He's
7
having
weeks
a
ago.
great year.
He was having a killer year.
He always has
Having a
great
killer
years. He's just the guy that throws up crazy numbers, but then the big game sucks.
Yeah, it's tough.
He tore his Achilles too.
A lot of
damn.
quarterback injuries this year. It's
But you
gotta
know,
be the most.
but
It's gotta be the most
does
this
anybody
year.
else stop and think and they look and they're like, holy shit, we've lost like a third of the league to injury at terms of quarterbacks.
Well, yeah, I think it was week 10. They came out and said they were one quarterback shy of a third of the league starting backup quarterbacks week 10, I believe it was. That
And
was
yet-
when we switched to O'Connell and just all kinds of other shit. Dobbs got traded, so Cardinals are starting their backup.
Right, Murray's been out. He's missed time this year. But let me ask you guys this, and I want both of your opinions on this. Right, we've got a third. Call it a third of the league has had injury issues at quarterback. Some more significant than others. Some season ending. Some not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why? What have all these rule changes over the years done to protect these quarterbacks?
Pussified him.
Because it looks like to me, we keep changing all these rules, but yet a third of the league has still got injury problems at quarterback. Why do we keep changing the rules if they're not actually protecting the players?
A lot of these quarterbacks very very thin frames, which I don't care for. You know how I am with like quarterbacks and frames.
Give me Steve McNair's all day
Dude.
over Trevor Lawrence's.
I'm not gonna lie. When Jimmy Garoppolo got drafted, I was like, no, he was the dude handsome. I was like, dude's fucking handsome as shit. He was jacked out of his mind. Looked like a fucking linebacker playing quarterback. But then that doesn't always translate to anything. But it just
Sure
he's
doesn't.
actually been a very injured person.
Looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane.
He's been a very injured person. But a lot of the guys you'll see are slender. Like you'll see Justin
Herbert.
Herbert. Thank you. I said Simmons. I don't know. Fucking safety there.
Beast.
You'll see Patrick Mahomes. You'll see Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, especially. A lot of these guys aren't built
Mahomes
to take
is thick,
hits.
though.
No, he's not. He's
Thicker.
tall, but he's still
He's only like 6'2", isn't he? Like
still
6'2",
tall.
220?
That's still tall for quarterback. Like once you start getting 6 feet and under, it's like mid-season.
Guys think the Chiefs are still going to go back to the Super Bowl?
No.
No, I
quarterback
think
injuries?
I don't think it's even the
I
injuries.
think it's all lined up for him to go back, and it's crazy because they have the most drops in the league. Their
No.
wide receivers are bad.
Well, I think they just have too many injuries on offense.
That's gonna bite him in the ass when push comes to shove. Like
It
when
is.
when you
I
don't
think
have
it
that
is.
Tyreek Hill to break the game open for you. Like, listen, as good as Patty Mahomes is, and and here's the thing: like if Kelsey was playing at a clip, that I could see was like a traditional Kelsey clip, and maybe statistically he's not that far off, but when you watch them play, when you watch Kansas City play this year, they don't live up. They don't pass the eye test as to what they've been in the past. Does that make
Agreed.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Agreed.
you watch them and you're like,
I think this is
Yeah,
all
they're good,
set up
but-
for Baltimore to come in and get the bye, get home field. They're well coached. They got Lamar.
I'll tell you right now, if the rest of the AFC does not capitalize on the fact that Kansas City is about as weak as we've seen them in the Mahomes era, and someone else doesn't seize the 1 seed and they allow the road to the Super Bowl to run through Kansas City again, shame on the rest of the league, dude. Shame on the rest of the conference. Straight up, just shame on you. Because you can't, if you give Mahomes the 1 seed and you give Kansas City the 1 seed, and you give them, all right, you got to go into Kansas City and win. You got to win 2 games in KC, and you're back to another Super Bowl. I'm sorry, but the Chiefs are more than capable of winning 2 games at home against this entire AFC field. You know what I'm saying? If we're looking at the teams that are going in, who's going to go in there and beat them? Houston, Indy, Denver? No, no one's going into Kansas City and beating them in the divisional round, and then they're going to end up on Championship Sunday.
I think the Dolphins got a chance. I think the Dolphins sneakily have a chance.
I want the Dolphins to excel, and if it can't be the Broncos, I'm all in on the Dolphins because I got tons of friends that are Fins fans. I love Tua. The Pineapple Prince is my fucking guy. I've been saying it for years.
As you know, they're capable of scoring 70.
They very much are. I did witness that firsthand one time. Wish they'd scored 73, but they chicken shit the fuck out, little bitches. But the thing is with Miami. And they're a weird team because they're doing what great teams do, which is bludgeon the shit out of subpar teams, but they're not beating the good teams.
Right. Then that's what I worry about.
And that's the only thing. I still have to see them beat a good team in a big spot. You know what I'm saying? Put them on Monday night against Kansas City. Put them on Monday night against Buffalo. And see, even though Buffalo right now is kind of down and out, that's a big game. That's a big spot.
Yeah.
And listen, I want to see Tyreek Hill set some records this year. I want to see him, even though he's a trash human being. I love him as a wide receiver, and I love the Fins, and I love their fans, and I got so many friends that are Fins fans. It's very easy for me to root for the Miami Dolphins. I love their colors. I love it. There's nothing I hate about the Fins. Jalen Ramsey's my boy.
Jalen Ramsey, yep.
Bradley Chubb is there, finally getting a chance to play for a winner. There's nothing I can say bad about the Miami Dolphins other than they hung 70 on my team at one point. Other than that, I love this team. Love them. Love the run game. I love Mike McDaniel. He's a Shanahan guy, for fuck's sake. Everything in Miami, for me, lines up to be kind of my sentimental favorite. But that being said, I don't see it out of them. If they had to go into Kansas City for an AFC Championship game, I don't know if I'm putting my money on Miami for that.
Yeah,
No,
I think
I
at
don't
this point, I think Baltimore. Will be the biggest threat.
Baltimore was my Super Bowl pick this year. I said
He was, yeah,
I
he
said
was.
Baltimore 49ers was my preseason
2012 rematch.
Super Bowl pick.
Roquan Smith was a huge pickup for them.
Oh my God!
he's
Of
a
course he
monster.
was. He got fucking saddled in that Chicago defense, and they were like, "We want you to play quarterback spy." He's like, Why the fuck did you draft me here? Like, I'm a thumping, pounding linebacker, and you want me to run sideline to sideline? I don't know. Chicago is just fucking stupid. But as soon as he went to Baltimore, I was pissed because I was like, he's going to be just an absolute monster there. And that's another defense. Heats up at playoff time. No matter who's on that defense, the Ravens always heat up.
Ravens
and
always
then
find a way.
Offense, it doesn't matter. You have Lamar Jackson. You have the corpse of Odell Beckham Jr. You have
Zay Flowers.
Who's been okay.
Mark Andrews out for the year is a hit, though.
Yeah, he's been out for a while.
Go get Dennis Pitta.
Dude, they should have get Zach Ertz.
Yeah, I don't know why Zach Ertz is.
Zach Ertz wants to go back to Philly. That's why.
I mean, I don't blame him.
Neither do I, because he has family in Philly, and his wife was from Philly, and all this other shit. So, it just annoys me. All these guys are joining up on Philly right now.
And his wife seems like a sweetheart too. So.
No, his wife's hot.
But she seems like a sweetheart. Like she seems like a nice.
Well,
I like the Ertzes, if you will, but nonetheless.
The Ertzes. I love Jason Kelsey's wife. I think she's the best.
Is she? I don't know. I haven't seen much of her.
Yeah, she just talks shit about her husband all the time. She's
Nice.
like, my husband is such a pussy. She goes, he's a center and he's this badass, but he goes, he's such a pussy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that their podcast. I didn't like Travis Kelce, as you can tell. I'm blocked by him, but like their podcast is pretty good. The two Kelseys.
I've listened to like clips of it, but I do have to listen. I do actually have to give that a listen.
They really don't talk about like they're very like down to earth, normal football loving guys. Like
Yep.
Travis Kelce's not trying to be as like over eccentric self, like wearing diamond earrings and trying to be like Jack Harlow Jr. And Jason Kelsey is just like, dude, I had to go to fucking Home Depot this morning and they didn't have this goddamn wrench I needed, and he just has like normal problems.
It's
That's
fucking
it.
awesome.
It's awesome.
Sean, what's your ideal scenario for the Pats next year?
All right.
You think drafting a quarterback? Is there anyone
100%.
in particular you want?
I want Justin Herbert 2.0, Drake May. 6'4", crazy powerful arm, fast on his feet, tall kid, good frame. That's who I want with the number 2 overall pick. If we stay at the number 2 overall pick, I do not want Caleb Williams. He immediately worries me because he seems like a head case that won't be able to handle Boston.
Yep. That's fair.
Yeah,
Or-
I'm not touching Caleb Williams with a 20-foot pole, dude.
What I actually think will happen is that the Raiders will fucking release Jimmy Garoppolo. I'll go into a fucking mild panic attack because I'm like, the Patriots are just going to sign this motherfucker. They'll sign him. The very next day, they'll sign Josh McDaniels, and I'll just roll up the sleeve on my shirt. I'll pull out a knife from the cutting blade, and I'll just watch the news in real time. I'll see Brandon Bolden get re-signed, and I'll just stop putting the
that's
blade to my
fair.
wrist.
That's how I felt when you told me that we were going to get rid of Carr and get Jimmy.
I knew it. I know the
That's how I
plan.
felt. You did. You
I
called it.
hate.
We've
I
seen
hate
this.
it.
We've seen this movie before.
I told
As somebody who
myself,
experienced
I
it
mean,
firsthand,
really?
dude.
And then we'll go to the draft, and all of a sudden we'll have the number 2 overall pick, right? And I'll be like, just draft Drake. I'm going to try to go to Gillette this year, especially for the number 2 overall pick. I'm going to go there. I don't care if I have fucking both kids with me, and I have a wife screaming at me. I'm going there. I'm like, everyone just shut the fuck up for 5 minutes. I'm standing there, and they're like, in the New England Patriots select tackle Joe Alt. I'm like, fuck my life, you motherfucker. We had Marvin Harrison Jr. We had quarterback. You take a fucking tackle.
You'll take a defensive tackle out of Rutgers or
Oh
something.
my God. I know Bill. I don't want him to go, and I know him so well. It's like this like toxic relationship that I'm in, where I know it's going to happen. I expect different results, so it's a definition of insanity.
Durant, let me ask you this: while we're on the topic of next year, not that your season's over because it's not yet, but obviously you guys have an interim head coach. What's your ideal situation for your Raiders next year?
I'm not even sure at this point.
I mean,
brother.
I'm
seeing recent
eliminate-
reports that we might try to bring Bisaccia back. I don't think we have a clue on what direction we're going.
Oh, that's the
Part of me
worst.
wants Gruden, like the heart in me wants Gruden, but
Never going to happen there.
not to run the draft process and everything else. I want Gruden to coach. I want him to coach the team. That's it. As far as management and making decisions, it's got to be someone else. We missed on way too many draft picks with Damon Arnett and Henry Ruggs. And, I mean, listen, I was pounding my table for CD Lamb with all the wide receivers on the board at pick 12. Pounding my table. Like, this has to be CD Lamb. It would have been a score of a pick. And we went with Henry Ruggs, and we know how that turns out.
Yeah, we first guessed that one in real time.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe they
so
took him. I couldn't believe they took him as high as they did.
couldn't
I was
either.
shocked.
I thought he was. I thought
I'm
he was going
happy
to
with
drop an
McDaniels
us.
out of there. I'll say that firmly.
I think ideally for the Raiders, I think if Mark Davis is smart, he will hire Champ Kelly to be the full-time GM.
Chip Kelly?
Champ.
Oh, I was like
The interim GM
okay,
right now.
okay.
Hire Champ Kelly to be the GM.
Yep.
And let him perform his own coaching search with no input from, minimal input from anybody else around him. Let him go find his guy that he believes he can work with, because I feel like the Raiders have done it backwards the last couple of years. Like they hired Gruden, and then Gruden brought in Mayock. And
I like Mayock.
I don't hate Mayock. I don't hate that at all. Actually, I love Mayock as a personnel guy.
Especially if
but
it's,
they just
with my
kept
philosophy
doing it backwards.
that, Gruden was my thing is Gruden was making the first round picks, so maybe the first and second round picks, and Mayock was making the later picks. I feel like Mayock scored on a lot of later picks. Max Crosby in the 4th, Hunter Renfrow in the 5th.
Yep.
That's what his specialty was. He's a deep depth draft guy.
Yep.
Right, he wasn't taking Clinton
Austin
Farrell.
Moreau in the 6th, the tight end. I mean, we did good in some of the later rounds.
Yeah, they did. And again, I'm not blaming Mayock, but I feel like if the Raiders are going to become like a relevant organization again, they need to do it. There's a blueprint to this, right? Just like the Godzilla movies we talked about in the beginning. There's a blueprint. You hire a GM. You let the GM perform a coaching search. Then he hires the coach. Then the GM shops for the groceries. The coach does the cooking. Right? Like, that's kind of how it's supposed to go. And the Raiders have kind of been flip-flopping and doing it backwards and trying to reinvent the wheel. And while they might have been onto something with Gruden and Mayock, that was short-lived and it got blown up. And we might never, we never got to see the kind of that whole plan come to fruition.
Because, we were 5-2 and leading the AFC West, and then Gruden leaked the emails. When we were 5-2, Joe.
I know. I remember. And I feel like there was somebody in the NFL office that wanted Gruden out of that job, and that's what they did. And they screwed him. And they screwed the Raiders in general. And maybe Mark Davis pissed somebody off. I don't know.
We just have a hit on us for Al Davis too in the NFL.
It's a tale as old as time,
we're
right?
Always going to be fucked.
The tale as old as time. The Raiders versus the NFL. It's the most classic rivalry there is.
What do you guys think about the Saints division? I know Derek Carr's taken a lot of shit and all that, but when push comes to shove, who do you trust winning that division? Do you trust Atlanta or Tampa Bay?
I don't.
It ain't gonna be Carolina.
I don't trust anybody to win that
It feels
division
like
at this
Tampa
point.
at this point.
But I'm gonna go Atlanta.
Really?
I think they get the best.
Desmond Ritter.
I think
Desmond Ritter.
I think Atlanta's defense is playing the best. Bates has been. We talk around about Bland and all these other guys, but Bates is having a great year at safety. He's been an interception machine, a turnover machine. They've got a good defense. They're playing well, and Ritter's not. Ritter's that guy. Like, he's probably not going to win you any games, but he might not lose them for you either. So, listen, if I'm rolling the dice here, I mean, my head says New Orleans should win it because they have the best quarterback. Like, that's.
I think Ritter might be one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL.
I agree. I 100% agree. But yet, here they are. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I'm saying is, like, I feel like Atlanta might have the best roster. New Orleans has the best quarterback. Tampa's somewhere kind of in between the two. Mm-hmm. Because Brother Baker, the touchdown maker, can go off, but, you just never know with them. As far as that's concerned, like New Orleans should win that division. And,
I mean, there's still 5 games left.
Oh, there's plenty of time left.
Change in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and Atlanta's leading at 6-6. Like, it's not like they're running away with this. A 500 football team. But I don't know. I feel like Atlanta might just be that kind of like that bullshit ass team that wins the division this year, where you're like, all right, nobody had that. Come on.
So they just go into the first round and get mopped by Dallas.
Oh, fuck yeah! No, they'll get mopped by whatever wild card team they host. Like. And it won't even matter. It'll probably be one of the 2 teams that's in the division behind them, like, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, Dallas, Minnesota, Green Bay, the Rams, Seahawks. Like, somebody's gonna go into that NFC South and play them in the first round because they're not going to be the 1 seed, so they're definitely going to be playing opening weekend. But it should be the Saints. But like we said, like we talked about on Sunday, Durant. Like, I'm kind of running out of reasons. Like, I'm kind of running out of material here to defend Derek Carr. Like, I want to because I know he's talented and I know he can throw the ball. but the results are just not showing up in the win-loss column. And I know it's not always his fault, but like after how many years of banging your head against the wall do you have to sit there and be like, all right, like
I just don't think he has it anymore.
maybe this
I know
guy's
it's
just
tough. Michael Thomas is injured again, so you don't got him out there. So now you only got Olave. No, I'm not so sure that those other guys are that good.
He hates Olave.
but like
hates him.
But this is like, I mean, this is a year in, year out thing. Like we've seen Derek Carr put up the stats. We know what all the numbers are. He's on par with Manning and Marino in most categories, for at this point in his career.
Yeah,
And
he
it's
had
just
15 straight completions, trying on that rally to come back. I know they were down, but
I mean, they got down 21-0, and credit to Derek Carr and the Saints. They came back and almost pulled that game out, but again, they put themselves in a 21-0 hole, and that's a difficult hole to dig yourself out of, even when you're not playing,
it's
a
not
Detroit
always
Lions.
on Carr though.
No,
It's
it's
kinda on
not.
the defense if
It's
they gave
not.
up 21. Carr doesn't play defense either. But yeah, I'm with you, Joe. Fair to say we're kind of running out of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running out of material because
Back
I've been a DC defender, just like you have for years. Like,
Yep.
I'm like, no, this guy isn't the problem.
I'm telling you, he's good. He's a good, accurate quarterback.
He
doesn't
is.
lack arm
Trust me,
strength.
I watch him every week, and I say, this kid can play. Like, I just don't know what the problem is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't put my finger on it anymore. And I'm like,
He's not extending plays. It's just he drops back. It's there or it's not. If it's not, then it's fucked. It's just bad. It's like a ball thrown in the dirt or a sack or.
He's overthrown a lot of people too.
I mean, I'm sure I could go back and I'm sure I could watch a bunch of their games and figure out what's what with them. But it just, when you watch him, when you look at him and you see the throws he makes, you go, yeah, that's an NFL quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at his win-loss record and you're like, the fuck?
I know.
And it's
that defense is really good. They got players on all three phases. Cam Jordan,
at least
Mario Davis.
at least they should be. You know what I mean? On paper.
You got Tyrann Mathieu. You got Marshawn Lattimore.
I don't know what they're giving up this year. Points against. I mean, they're the middle of the pack. They're 16th, giving up 21 points a game.
I still don't. I just
So they're
don't.
dead ass middle. But
I just don't understand it. Maybe it's coaching on that team. Then that's all it is.
I mean, Dennis Allen. Nobody's writing home about Dennis Allen being a great
he's
coach.
just a mediocre dude.
So I don't know. But Durant, thanks for the call, man. I'm gonna go. We're gonna hop off here in a few minutes. Watch the Lakers and
I ain't watching the Lakers.
in-season tournament, baby.
What about
quarterfinal?
Dude, I have no interest in the in-season tournament at all. No interest.
I don't either.
I'm not a
but
fan of it, but it's bringing a lot of viewership.
What about Ime telling LeBron, "You little bitch"? LeBron gets a technical and Ime gets ejected. I'm like, bah.
yeah, and
That shit was funny, man. That shit
LeBron's
was
response
classic.
to it was pretty funny too. He was like, "You shouldn't use that word."
I know you shouldn't use the word bitch.
Yeah, you shouldn't use the B word, bro. Like that's all he said. He was like, "Yeah, whatever, dude." He's like, "I'm LeBron James." Like,
Yeah,
I don't care about what you-
he said something like, "We're grown adults. Like you shouldn't be calling people bitch." He goes, "You're a bitch ass boy, bitch."
Yeah,
And the referee he kicks him out.
it's fucking awesome. Durant, thanks
The
for the call.
fans' reactions were awesome in that too. If you've seen some of the fans in the background after it happened.
Yeah, you're
I'll
right.
have to watch it. I didn't actually see the clip. I
Like-
don't know how you call LeBron. You can call LeBron a lot, but a bitch isn't one of them. So
Oh my god, it was really fucking funny.
it is what it be. But Durant, thanks for the call, bud. We'll talk to you again real soon. All right,
No doubt. Thanks for the
Adios.
call, boys.
Take care.
take care. Joey Fats Radio, row one, seat one. Good call. Love when Durant calls. He's got he always calls in with a palette of questions.
He's like,
That, and they're well pointed. They're well pointed. So I appreciate it. And all of our listeners are I'd say fairly high IQ.
I
Which is
want
nice.
to shout out. He's not listening right now because he also has a young baby. But Graham has been like tweeting me during the games, like the Patriots games. He's like, "I'm calling in this Tuesday. I want fucking Belichick dead. I want Kraft murdered. I want Jonathan Kraft shot." And I was like, "Bro, I get the vengeance, but I was like, it's a like you gotta take a step back." And he's like, "Fuck that. I want everyone gone. I want Mac Jones' legs amputated." And then Like I thought that was crazy, and I was trying to send you. I couldn't. I don't know why. I think Facebook. I think the WhatsApp app is stopping me from sending you this video. I was trying to send you the house explosion video.
No, I got it.
Oh, you have it?
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say this is gonna be me when I see Josh McDaniels and Jimmy Garoppolo have joined the Patriots in what we're in December, 3.5 months. I'm gonna see it on like March 23rd, and I'm gonna be like this guy. Search warrant, huh? Boom. Just blow up the house.
You American dogs.
I like how he called that Asian guy
I know.
is saying his white neighbors are Asian spies. I'm
Yeah.
like,
that whole thing was fucking hilarious. Like, you saw the Steven Crowder clip I sent you, right?
no. What's even Crowder clip?
I think I sent it to you on Instagram.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I really never go on Instagram.
I think I sent it to you on IG, but no, that was funny as hell because the Arlington, Virginia, if you don't remember the house exploding, my favorite one of that was, I think you highlighted it or pointed it out. It was like, these Muslim gender reveals are getting out of control.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I fucking pissed my pants when I saw that. That was hilarious. But speaking of things, but last thing I want to get to before we get out of here, because we're running up here on a pretty good amount of time. Cam Newton has got to be, like, if you didn't hate Cam Newton for anything he's done prior, like, this should make you, like, kind of, or if you were on the fence about Cam Newton, this should, like, tip you over the other side. So Cam Newton was on Barstool this week, and he was on one of the podcasts, and he basically went on and lamented, like, Peyton Manning.
Oh, it's part of my take.
For ruining the NFL for guys like him.
Yes.
And it's a 2-minute clip. It's a little bit long, but bear with it. Because this has got to be, if not the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Again, and this is
not the craziest thing he said.
No, but it's why I hate Cam Newton. So, yeah, check this out.
See, this is the narrative of, and I was kind of judged on this principle.
Yeah.
People who think they know football or sports, Peyton Manning did this league a disservice, right?
Okay.
By having 350 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, the Brett Favres of the world, All right, here comes Michael Vick. Here comes a Cam Newton. Here comes Steve Young, right? Here comes these athletic quarterbacks that we're going to get the yards elsewhere, all right? So a typical winning stat line for Cam Newton is this: 208, 215 yards passing, another 80 yards rushing, 1 touchdown, either passing or running, and 3 touchdowns in total. Altogether, that's upwards of 300 yards in total offense. Not only that, it's controlling the clock, and that gives there's chunk plays in there, but it's not the prototypical way we're used to seeing yards being made, right? Mm-hmm. Now, when you see Justin last night, right, he went 10 for 10, but he probably had 42 yards in those 10 passes.
Yeah.
It's confidence builders. Now you're throwing the ball out on smoke screens. You're throwing the ball out on bubble screens. You're throwing the screens. You're throwing this. You're throwing that. But at the same time, when it's time for him to say, this is a Justin Fields moment, get the fuck out of his way.
Yeah.
He's now fresh to do that. Rather than, I would hate systems like this. Hand the ball off 1 yard. Hand the ball off again, a negative 2 yards. Now it's 3rd and 12.
Yeah, always behind.
And I'm like, yo, bro, I'm not that guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now you got these exotic blitz packages where it's like, hold on, hey, hold on. Hey, 52's the mic here. Why easy? No. Hey, 38's the mic. Hey, let's rover to 52. It's too much.
Right.
It's too much. Just let him go.
Well,
So basically what Cam Newton is saying is, I was not smart enough to play the quarterback position the way Peyton Manning did, and therefore he did the league a disservice. This is going to be one of the most ignorant, asinine...
he came in after Peyton Manning, by the way.
Right.
He's talking as if Peyton Manning came in after him and it ruined the game for him. I'm like, no.
No.
You
He
came
was
after
saying,
Manning.
Yeah, he was saying here comes Peyton Manning. Here's Peyton Manning, and then Peyton Manning did the league a disservice because, and I don't think he meant Peyton Manning specifically. He probably meant Manning, Brady, Rodgers, the pocket passers, the guys that will go out and throw for 300, 350 yards, 2 or 3 touchdowns and move the ball. But what Cam Newton doesn't talk about there, doesn't acknowledge, is, you could go out and throw for 210 or 220 and then run for 80 and you still have a score, but you're an unbalanced offense. because everybody knows you're running the ball. Like, you are not as effective at running the ball as Jonathan Stewart or D'Angelo Williams. You're not as effective at running the ball as your running backs are. That's their job. And that's the problem. That's what I like. Cam Newton tries sit there and, he puts on the fucking hat and the throwback bullshit and, like, he tries to go up there and, like, sound like he's this big, sophisticated, highly intelligent guy. This is the same fucking guy that was sitting there going, wow. It's so interesting to hear a female talk about routes. Like, this guy's a fucking clown as clowns go. And he's still so pissed off about 2015 when he completely bitched out in that Super Bowl and let Denver's defense just make him look like the complete scrub that he was.
Yeah.
Even though they were 15-1 and he had an MVP season that year, and the Denver defense just throttled him in that game because they exposed him. Because the game, there's a reason why the Peyton Mannings, the Brett Favres, that he named had more success on offense than Cam Newton, Michael Vick. And he throws in Steve Young in there, too, and it's like, no, Steve Young is one of the most prolific passers of all time, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really know why you threw Steve Young in with you and Michael Vick. Maybe, like, because you saw some highlight reels.
Yes,
but
he was trying to say, like, because Steve Young was, like, the first scrambler that got it over.
I mean, not really. I mean, there was Randall Cunningham.
In his mind,
there was John Elway. There was Fran Tarkenton. There's been plenty of guys that
Randall
ran
Cunningham
around.
didn't win, though.
All right, but, I mean, Steve Young didn't win until the very
he
end.
did. He still won one.
Well, he got one, yeah. But it wasn't like Steve Young was out there winning Super Bowls every year.
No, he was not.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, he'd been in the league since 88, 87. He didn't win until 94. And we never heard from him again after that. So, what are we really talking about here? But this has got to be the worst take I've ever heard.
Oh, it was garbage.
Like,
Absolute
I mean,
garbage.
To say that Peyton Manning did the NFL a disservice is not only laughable, but it's grounds to completely discredit any opinion that you have going forward.
Later on in that interview, right after that, I think it's a few minutes after that, they asked him about if he's going to come back next year, like if he's going to try out for a team and whatever like that. First of all, he asked for crazy money. He says, "I'm not playing for league minimum." And I'm like, dude, you've been out of the league for 2+ years.
Yeah, who
now.
do you think you are?
And
dude?
you weren't good the last time
we saw you in New England, you were trash.
And Carolina.
Like if I remember correctly, you lost to Drew Lock. Not to say that that's a bad thing.
And so, he just said something along the lines like, "I just need the certain motivation." And so, PMT and Big Cat were both like, "You're trash, like you're overrated." Like, and Big Cat goes, "You a dog shit in New England." and hey, Cam Newton all takes it in stride, and Cam Newton was like, "I wasn't though." He goes, "Go back and look at the stats. I wasn't." And I was like, "I watched you in real time. Yes, you were."
Yeah, you were. Like you were not good.
I'm like,
dude.
you had a few good games, but I was like, other than that, you were pretty bad the whole time.
He was mediocre at best.
Yes.
And again, Cam Newton was one of those guys. You go back and look at him. He was an every other year guy. He was like a Josh Beckett.
Heck, Jekyll and Hyde.
Yep, every other year.
He was my
year.
Jekyll and Hyde
Yep.
literal person. I was like, he's good one year, terrible the next.
Oh, he had a good year this year. Pass on him in fantasy this year because he's going to be crap. And you were out, and you were 99
dead accurate.
Dead ass accurate. But that has got to be one of the worst takes I have ever heard from a former player talking, especially a quarterback. And this is why he's been like exonerated from most of you listen to like a lot of these guys talk. Nobody talks to Cam Newton. Nobody fucks with him because they know he's a clown. He's a buffoon.
He has like that barbershop podcast.
Yeah, and he tries. He's more concerned with his little hats and his hair and his fashion than he is with actually playing quarterback. And that's why he's just a bust.
He's broken down.
He had one good year in his career. One.
He had a decent career. His stats. He's a very good stat guy. But he's broken down. All those hits, all those unnecessary runs, all that diving forward, all that Superman shit. He killed his body. He killed himself. What's his passing?
How many passing touchdowns do you think Cam Newton had?
In his career?
Yeah.
180.
194.
Ooh, I was close.
You were. How many interceptions?
180.
123.
Oh, a lot less than I thought.
Okay, but here's the thing. This man played 10 years.
That's it.
His career high for touchdowns was 35 in 2015.
That was his great year.
35 and 10. Like that was like a decently good year for anybody else.
That's like an average year now. But now, what's his rushing yards in all those years? That's the thing.
Rushing, he had a shitload more. I know that.
What's his passing yards for his career? What is he? 60,000 yard passer?
Oh no. Oh no, way less. 32,000
for a career.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Dude, he
that's
topped,
horrendous.
He topped 4,000 yards once. Even in his best year, his career year, in 15, he only threw for 3,800 yards.
Oh wow.
So, again, I don't know what, like, where does Cam Newton get off? Like, talking about how all these other guys, like, ruin the game for him. Rushing yards, let's see. He had 5,600 rushing yards and 75 rushing touchdowns.
Holy shit.
Over 10 years, which is actually a pretty good career.
That's
touchdown-wise.
Well, because but that's a lot of damage he took for no reason.
Well, he had 14 rushing touchdowns his rookie year. Then he had 10 in 2015, so he had 45 total touchdowns that year he won the MVP, which is why he won the MVP.
Of course.
And then he had 12 for New England.
Rushing?
Yep.
Oh my God, that's right, all the 1 yard shit.
Yep. And he had 592 yards rushing, 12 touchdowns. 636 yards rushing, 10 touchdowns. I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't like Lamar Jackson or Michael Vick where he was going out there putting up 800, 900, 1,000 yards rushing, and he was moving the ball. So, for him to sit there and say like, oh, a typical game for me is like 220 and 80 yards on the ground, like, nope, not according to this, not really. You're not even close, dude. Like, what was it? His average receiving yards per game was 38 yards.
That's terrible.
So he averaged 38 yards rushing.
That's still
per game.
That's not
was
that
38
much.
yards. So your average. So just using his criteria here, his average passing yards per game was 218. And then another, so call it 220 and 40.
So 250 if you
So
round it up.
260.
Yeah.
260 was his average yards per game. That's not the 300, 350 that
most
Manning
guys
and
get.
Favre were putting up that you're
Or
talking
a lot
about.
of guys get.
Nope. And I know this isn't really fair, but we'll use Peyton Manning as an example because he brought it up. Peyton's average passing yards a game
It was like
270.
Oh wow, that's a much higher average.
270 average.
Yeah.
I mean, his average in Denver was 295, and that was when he had a noodle arm for a year.
Well, that's when that was post neck surgery. Come on.
295.
I know, that's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, his average in Indy was 263. His average in Denver was 295. His career average was 270. So, again, this is just a fucking horrible take through and through by a complete fucking idiot. And I'm just glad he continues to expose himself for being the complete buffoon that he is. And it makes me so happy because I didn't like this guy when he came out of Auburn. I didn't like him his rookie year.
Where was he before Auburn, before he transferred from Auburn? He transferred to
Florida.
Auburn. Florida State?
Remember he was with the Gators. No, remember that was the laptop thing.
Oh, yes.
Scammy Cammy got caught stealing the laptops, remember?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it warms the cockles of my heart to see this guy go out and make a complete fucking ass of himself on a regular basis because no one should be taking Cam Newton serious. I certainly don't. But again, there's a reason why Lamar Jackson doesn't have a Super Bowl. There's a reason why Jalen Hurts doesn't have a Super Bowl yet. There's a reason why Steve McNair never won a Super Bowl. There's a reason why Michael Vick never won a Super Bowl.
I mean, Mahomes no, never mind.
But
No.
Mahomes is more Elway than he
throw.
is Vick.
Yeah, he can throw.
Like, anybody could, people always say, oh, Mahomes is a mobile quarterback. Yeah, so is John Elway, dude.
Mahomes doesn't run anymore, though, if you notice.
No, he runs to create a pass.
Yes.
Which is what you need to do to be successful, which eventually, if Josh Allen ever learns how to do and stop throwing the ball to the wrong team, they're going to have a really good time in Buffalo.
I think we nailed it. I think, not to pat myself on my back, not to pat myself because
Go ahead, Sean.
I knew
Take
this.
the victory lap.
I think end of this year, I think Buffalo misses the playoffs in my gut. They fire McDermott and Josh Allen. I'm sorry, and Stephon Diggs is like, I'm out of here. I'm getting out of here.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm confident, and I think Diggs wants to go play in Dallas with his brother.
Which would be pretty dope. Not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Lamb, Diggs, Dak. I think that means
They'll bring back Zeke.
that'd be kind of cool.
Zeke has been great with the Patriots. I'm not going to lie to you. It
He's
sucks.
not been bad.
It sucks that he hasn't been used. I mean, because the Patriots' offense is so bad, and he gets to get stuffed in the box with like 8 guys.
Yeah, it's been a bad year for New England.
Yeah,
Here,
yeah.
through and through
Not
and
to
through.
keep going back to them.
But all right, let's drop it there.
No, wait. Can we show that picture of the house blowing up?
Oh,
I want to end the show with that. That's how we should end the show every week. Kapow! That's how the show ends. This is like I don't know why this video was like blocked. Like WhatsApp will not let me send it at all. It was like absolutely not.
I gotta get it.
I think it's watch. You're gonna get the same thing I'm gonna get. I'm telling you. Like I go to download it. This will literally be me in March. You can book it for this show because it's gonna happen. The Patriots will bring back Josh McDaniels' fucking face, and they'll bring back Jimmy Garoppolo when he eventually gets released by the Raiders. And I will be at my house in Dartmouth.
And this will be Sean's house.
By the way, we can show that because nobody was harmed in that explosion. Not even the guy inside the house blowing up his house.
He wasn't in the house, was he?
Yeah, he was. That Asian dude?
Oh, I thought he left the house.
No, I thought I heard he was in there. He was firing flares.
I thought he escaped the house, then blew it up.
And he fired a flare into the house? That's kind of badass. I'm not going to lie
I mean,
to
that's
you.
some Jason Bourne shit if I've ever heard
He
of him.
turns around, he's like, information overload. And just blows up the house. But I love how they were like, we have a search warrant. And he was like, the fuck you do? And he blows up the whole house.
Oh, you do? Guess what I have, bitch? A flare gun.
That is, first of all, if he did something, if he's like a child pornography and pedophile, then you know what I mean, like kill that dude. But if it was just
I heard he was like a contractor for like the DOD or something like that. Like
and he was like a crazy conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, like I think he had some dirt on somebody or something, or he had some classified information that he leaked, and they were coming to grab him and nab him up.
He's one of those guys that they make movies about, like Mel Gibson and stuff like that, like from the early '90s. What was it like? I forgot the name of those movies.
Get the Gringo.
Yeah, it was something like that. And
No,
he's
it
just
wasn't. Get the Gringo is like relatively newer.
no. There was a movie in which
Last of the Mohicans.
no
Braveheart.
God. No, he wasn't in Last of the Mohicans.
I know,
that was
but-
Daniel Day-Lewis, who like retired like randomly. I don't know. He knows like a bunch of information about shit, and then like they're always trying to get him, and he knows all these. He booby traps everything he goes, no matter where he goes.
What the fuck was that movie? I
know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I can see the cover of it.
It's like everything's in like a dark bluish hue.
Yeah.
The whole movie was filmed in dark blue.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't think of the name of it.
Mel Gibson spy movie.
As soon as you say the name of it.
Give me back my son. Sound of Freedom. That ain't it. That's
Nope.
current.
No, that's pretty new.
Man Without a Face? No, that can't be it.
Mm,
That's not it.
That's not ringing a bell.
That's
I mean,
not
I know the movie title. I know of that movie, but no, that's not the one I was thinking of. Like, I know I'm thinking of the cover of True Lies right now with Schwarzenegger on it, but
I was looking at Conspiracy Theory.
boy,
Duh. We are
how
dumb.
how do we miss that?
Julia Roberts and Mel Gibson. I am
Yes,
dumb
Julia
as shit.
Roberts. That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
That was good. What year was that?
93?
No, I think it was 97 or 98. What year is fucking Conspiracy Theory? Tell me. Tell me now. Conspiracy Theory year movie. 97. I got lucky with 97.
97, you're right. I was off. I was big time off, which is not normally like me, but guess the year of things is usually kind of my
Yeah, no, me.
that's my forte. That's
me.
like my real, that's my
beginning
wheelhouse.
of 2000s and before, I'm good. After 2000s, all a fucking blur apparently.
Oh yeah, the 2000 to 2010 is like I'm like I don't fucking
Joey,
know.
2004 to 2020. I'm like, that was 15 years ago. I'm
I
like,
know. Yeah,
I
but the 90s though, I'm like phew, summer of '94, fucking lit.
you
Like,
know why? Because I was like, we were kids growing up, and you're
That's
like,
all we-
oh,
that's all we had to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was no internet. We just fucking fought with people.
but like the
normal.
like what year was this song released? Like that.
I did pretty good with that.
When they used to do that on the Dozen Trivia, like when they had it on Barstool was on XM, like I used to crush that category, crush it. Like I would smoke that category. So years released and shit things that happen. It's like, because I can usually do like 6 degrees of separation, be like, all right, well, that was the year that this happened, and the Broncos lost this game, and then this happened, and then this happened, and yeah, that's got to be this. So that eliminates all those other years. It's got to be this one.
Oh, case in point, earlier with the Patriots. I love the Patriots, and I was like, was that 2010 or 2012? I've mixed up all the years. It's all recent memory for me. I have short-term memory loss.
2010 was the Brady's MVP year. They lost to the Jets. Antonio Holmes, corner of the end zone. That was the Bart Scott can't wait game.
Oh,
remember? Because they lost. That was the first time they went. I think that was the first time they went one and done.
Can't believe it.
Oh, no, second time, because they went one and done the year before to Baltimore.
We lost to Rex Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, shout out to fucking, who was the quarterback that talked right to Teddy Bruschi, Randy Moss, and Rex Ryan? And it was, Alex Smith. Alex Smith comes out and says, to be fair, like, Belichick and Tom Brady never played anybody in the AFC East.
Yeah.
And then Bruschi...
And Rex Ryan sitting there going like...
Rex Ryan goes, and he makes believe he has a seizure. He goes, I'm sorry. He goes, I had a stroke from listening to something so stupid.
But he's not wrong. It's like, Rex, you were good for like 3 years.
I know, but
like 2009 and 10, that was pretty much it.
To say it right to his face.
I know.
And him have like a fake stroke.
And Bruschi was like, man, fuck you. Like,
and even Moss was like, bro, he's like, dude, we had to face the rest of the NFL too. We get to the Super Bowl.
Right, but he's like, you guys basically had 6 wins a year. Like, gimmies. Freebies.
Alex sounds like Alex Smith was just jealous as shit.
I mean, wouldn't you be?
Yeah. He went to Kansas City and still
come on, man. Like, could you imagine being like, oh, who do you guys got to play this week? Big division game against the Bills. Yeah, man, that JP Lossman, bro. He's really tearing it up out there.
If you go back and look at some teams drafting quarterbacks, it is like,
it's like, oh man, AJ Feely and the Dolphins. Yikes, it's gonna be a barn burner.
I remember J.P. Lossman was a good one. There was a guy they drafted, E.J. Manuel. Like top 10 pick.
Yeah.
The dude
I think he was actually number 10 overall.
The dude never did anything more than like 4 games.
No, E.J. Manuel was bad. It was E.J. Manuel, J.P. Lossman. Then there was Tyrod Taylor.
There's Trent Edwards in there somewhere.
Trent Edwards was in there.
Drew Bledsoe.
Ryan Fitzmagic.
You can't even say about Fitzpatrick.
He was probably the best one.
Hold on.
And then go back like through like the Miami days, like Cleo Lemon, Joey Harrington, Chad Pennington. God, who else did they have down there that were just fucking like pretty awful, but it was a bad time to be a Dolphins fan. And then the Jets, I mean, Jesus Christ, dude, who didn't they have?
That's very true.
You know, they had that one time they had Brett Favre, and they were like, "We're gonna go to the Super Bowl," and we're like, "No, you're not." He's literally just coming here. He's literally just coming here because they wouldn't let him go to the Vikings right away.
Hold on. Josh Allen. All right, Nathan Peterman, Matt Barkley, Derek Anderson, E.J. Manuel, Tyrod Taylor, Kyle Orton, Thad Lewis, Jeffrey Toole, Trent Edwards, Brian Brum. Oh, my God, Brian Brum. Kelly Holcomb. Holy shit.
Yeah, Kelly.
Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah.
And then just before Drew Bledsoe, in 1 year, was Alex Van Pelt, Rob Johnson, and Doug Flutie.
I forgot they had D.A. down there that 1 year. Remember Derek Anderson? Remember that 1 year? Maybe he threw 17 touchdowns to Braylon Edwards, and then we never heard from either one of them again.
Yeah, that makes all the right sense in the world.
I think that was 07.
My God. I don't even want to look at Cleveland doing it because Cleveland's going to be just a fucking nightmare.
We'd have to do a whole show on Cleveland.
Hold on, I'm going to look it up really quick. Cleveland Browns, and then we're going to end the show with the joke of Cleveland Browns quarterback. So Patriots fans can't complain.
Well, hey, they've got the most elite quarterback in the league back on their team, and he looked pretty elite on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I'm the Cleveland Browns, I'm starting Joe Flacco on Sunday. I don't know how you don't, but...
Okay, before Deshaun Watson... All right, let's not even count last year with Jacoby. It was Baker Mayfield, Case Keenum, Nick Mullins, Tyrod Taylor, Kevin Hogan, Deshaun Kaiser, Cody Kessler, Robert Griffin III, Josh McDaniels, Austin Davis, Johnny Manziel, Brian Hoyer, Connor Shaw II, Jason Campbell, Brandon Whedon, Brandon Whedon, that was twice, so I skipped the second one. Thad Lewis, Seneca Wallace, Colt McCoy.
Yeah, Thad Lewis got around, huh?
Jake Delhomme, Brady Quinn, Derek Anderson, Bruce Gradkowski, Ken Dorsey, Brady Quinn, again, Charlie Fry, Trent Dilfer, and let's end it in 04 with Jeff Garcia, Kelly Holcomb, and Luke McCown all in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Garcia, 10 games. Luke McCown, 4 games. Kelly Holcomb, 2 games. And 2003 was Tim Couch, his final 8 games as a quarterback.
Yep.
Wow. That was about 25 quarterbacks in not even 20 years.
It's pathetic.
That is insane.
Which is why anytime the Cleveland Browns draft any quarterback, I'm like,
The picture of the guy crying, saluting.
I salute you, sir.
Oh, man.
Thank you for your services rendered.
Always great to see other teams just struggling at life and then realize that.
And then meanwhile,
not
you
so
got New
bad.
England fans being like, fire the greatest coach of all time. You're like, no, please don't.
I will pass. No, thank you.
All right, let's get out of here, Sean. Good show. Thank you all for joining us. We'll be back next Tuesday night. Full house next Tuesday, right?
Yeah, Godzilla talk.
Yeah, yeah. We'll tamp down the Godzilla talk. We won't waste 35 minutes talking about shitty Godzilla.
It wasn't even bad. It was fun because I'm actually intrigued to watch it now, especially when you told me it takes place like the day after they get nuked and like here comes Godzilla from Japan. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, pretty much. And it's pretty much the whole theme of the movie is just they're like, dude, what the fuck? Like they had one city left standing and Godzilla's just like, not anymore, you don't.
Did they pan to America who's doing this on a boat?
No,
Like
but they do.
dancing?
But they basically allude to the Americans being like, nope.
They're like, please help us. You're walking this crazy creature. And America's like, America.
Yep. No, they do show it the bikini atoll testing and everything, and they allude to that being like, part of the whole thing. So anyway,
Crazy.
thank you all for joining us. We'll be back next Tuesday night, 8:30, 45-ish
Yeah, it's my fault.
Tuesday night, right here on the one, the only, the New Bedford Guide. Make sure you give us a like and a share. This show will be up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts will be available here within the next 30, 35, 40 minutes. Please go ahead and give that a like and a share and a follow as well. And we'll see you next Tuesday night. Joey Fats Radio, Row 1C1 for Mr. Betancourt. Pleasure you couldn't be here. I'm Joey Fats. We'll check you next Tuesday. Peace.
Adios.